Hey, what's up guys? Today we are doing something very, very special, which we're going to be doing something that is very, very special and very, very exciting today. I'm excited to say that we are here for this week's edition of FGC Fridays. The show that every week that teaches you guys about the most important thing that you'll ever need in your lives, fighting games. Okay, it's not really that. That's not really the case, but you know what I mean. But anyway, today, we've been playing a lot of fighting games. But the thing is, I realized there's a lot of fighting game adjacent things that a lot of people may not be interested in as well. So, but also I was thinking, I was thinking one day, and I remembered a line from a video. And this video was from it was done a very long time ago. It was done by iDubbbz, I think. iDubbbz popularized this trend, and then it was done way better by PewDiePie years later, and now I'm doing it. But there's a problem here. You see, if you're looking at all these guys, go away at. If you're looking at these guys, I don't really think I can beat them in a fist fight by any stretch of the imagination, or any of the guys that I have in any of these lists. So, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be coming up with a scenario, and we're going to be trying to prove if I'm smarter than all of these fighting game characters. I've picked 5 fighting games: Street Fighter 6, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Marvel vs. Capcom 3, Tekken 8, and Guilty Gear Strive. And we're going to be ranking all of them. Hi, human. Highly unlikely. I will have you know for a fact that I am at least smarter than 2 of these characters. I know for a fact that I'm smarter than a couple of them. Probably. Maybe. I don't know. So let me change the music real quick. You guys are going to see something blink. There's going to be an ad. Sorry about that. Hold on. Alright, chat. Are you guys ready? We'll turn on the BGM a little bit so that you guys can properly hear everything. And let us begin. Let us begin. So first off we have Ryu. Oh right, I forgot. Oh right, before I begin, I was saying it was highly unlikely to win. In a battle of wits, I feel like I stand a chance against a few of these guys. This isn't even the game with the worst matchup for me. Trust me, there's a game that is way worse than this. But yeah, if it were an actual fist fight, there's no chance. I don't stand a chance. You are absolutely right. I'm a VTuber. VTubers don't fight people. Anyway, though. Oh. I forgot to show you the tiers. The first tier is they outsmart everyone, no question. Like, if I compete against these guys in anything mental, they're going to destroy my boat. They are absolutely giga-brain individuals, and they're going to destroy me. You could be smarter, but your fight's always getting your loss. Your magic is not a standing chance against magic fighters. We'll get to that. Trust me. Would mop the floor with me intellectually. These are people who would beat me, and they would beat me really badly, but they wouldn't just completely, destroy me. Smart, but I could pull off something. I said pull out something, but that doesn't make any sense. Basically, these characters are smart, but they're not, impossibly smart. Around the same level, I think it would be, characters that are, fair in a situation. I am mostly smarter. Basically, it means what it says in the tin. I am mostly smarter than these people. Well, I would intellectually dominate them. Basically, these are characters that are so unbelievably not smart that I would somehow pull off the win. And then genuinely unintelligent are just characters I would just not have any problem against at all. The hypothetical scenario is that the 2 of us are competing in a jigsaw-like thing, and we have to complete a test. And whoever does better on the test is able to live, and whoever does worse just dies. That's basically the scenario that I came up with before this thing, because the context here is important. Because this is based off of intelligence, not really how wise you are. Because there are tons of characters who are really street smart, but a lot of them are. But here, what I'm trying to say is they're street smart, but they're not really knowledge smart. So first of all, we're gonna start with. Oh yeah. Oh, right. I forgot. Okay, there is one last disclaimer. In these lists, there are going to be multiple characters listed. For some of them, I'm not going to change my rankings for them depending on the game. So for some games, if I say rank Ryu around the same level as me, then he's going to be the same. He's going to be the same regardless of what happens. Like nothing's going to change. Speaking of which, we're going to start with Ryu. Ryu, I think, is a good place to start, I guess, in terms of, like, intellect and stuff like that, because, like, he's a fighter. Like, most of the characters in the street, like, he's a fighter. And when I say that he's a fighter, I mean that he's a fighter. Like, his entire thing is basically an anime training arc, where he basically is trying to get stronger throughout the entire thing. He's basically a Dragon Ball protagonist. So I personally think that like he has very big knowledge on fighting and pretty much nothing else. In Street Fighter, he's basically classified as a bum. He doesn't own a house, he doesn't have shoes, and he had to get a lot of help in order to like fit in properly and stuff like that. He is the Street Fighter. Yes, he is the Street Fighter. He's not a Street Fighter, he's the Street Fighter. Of course, though, I think that looking at Ryu, though, Ryu, I think has a lot of things. I think that Ryu would probably have some knowledge that you just randomly figure out, because he did travel the world a bunch in multiple Street Fighter games. So I'd like to think, in theory, that he has a chance. But I feel like I'm gonna say that I am mostly smarter than Ryu, the more I think about it. Because he did get educated. He just got educated by his master. That's really it. Alright, Luke from Streets is next. I don't think there's much of a debate here. This guy is like stereotypical college dude bro energy. That's the energy I get off of Luke. This is a guy who fundamentally is like, this guy I imagine is like incredibly street smart. But I do not imagine that this guy is like even the slightest bit like overtly intelligent. If I'm really thinking about it. Like, he seems like the kind, like Luke here seems like the kind of guy that would just like, that would like go completely nuts it's in the gym and know like every single terminology and stuff like that. And then at the same time just completely and then just get lost on his way home. I feel like if this were like a test or anything like that, I'm betting Ryu is more culturally smart than book smart. Yeah, Ryu probably is more culturally smart. Right. All things considered, I don't think any of these characters would fit into the typical definition of book smart. But based on their knowledge alone, I genuinely think that I think I would intellectually dominate Luke. Luke was going to die. Alright, Chun-Li. Chun-Li, I think this is probably going to be a bit of a controversial ranking. We're going to put Chun-Li all the way up here. And the reason I'm putting Chun-Li all the way up here is, okay, number one, she's an Interpol agent. So naturally that means that she is aware of a lot of stuff. She knows a lot of things. So I don't think they just let anybody into Interpol. And second of all, I think that she has like a mom energy. Like, if you're trying, like, if you think, like you know when you're a kid and you think that like you know better than your parents in some situations, and then you get completely dominated by her knowledge and stuff like that. Like, you think you know better, but in actuality you're wrong. Like when you're trying to find something. I feel like that's what the energy that Chun-Li here gives off. That you get like completely destroyed. Like, she's a Fed. Trust me, you are not going to like a lot of the Street Fighter characters if you don't like the fact that she's a Fed. But yeah, I think that she would completely mop the floor with me intellectually. I don't think I would stand even an atoms of a chance. I'm genuinely thinking that she would just rip me apart intellectually. Next up is Jamie. I'm pretty sure Jamie destroyed his life with his rampant alcoholism. Capcom likes to claim that's not rampant alcoholism, but it absolutely is rampant alcoholism. I also don't think he's much smarter than Luke, so I'm just gonna put him in I would intellectually dominate them completely. At least. The only thing that I think that he would have an advantage on is, I guess if he knows is maybe like dance history or something. I highly doubt that like Jamie even has the slightest atom of an advantage over me, though. I think I would win. Alright, Guile. Mr. Military Man himself. If I'm honestly thinking about it, this guy, I feel like, well, for number one, he's another Fed. But I feel, so obviously he knows a lot of stuff, but he's also in the military. So that automatically means he's gonna like understand like a lot of terminology and knowledge. He's also American and very patriotic, so he probably would have like a lot of big knowledge of history. And he's got like that dad energy, you know, kind of like how Chun-Li has the mom energy. Guile kind of has the dad energy, where I feel like I imagine he's smart, but I don't think he's like incredibly smart. I imagine he's more like he's smart in like a lot of in few very specific areas. So I think that he's in the army. Actually, no, he's not in the army. He's in the Air Force. I can't even remember the Street Fighter War. Saved my life. Alright. Kimberly. So, Kimberly, we actually know for a fact that she is intelligent. Because in the arcade, in her arcade mode, when you play as her first thing that she's seen doing is solving a math problem to a formula that was randomly posted. And no one else was able to solve it. So automatically, that's going to put her up a peg above everybody else. I don't think she's going to be outsmart everyone, no question. But the fact that she was able to do that alone, I think just at such a young age, I think she actually is probably one of the smarter characters in the Street Fighter lore. At least to me. At least. I turned on the BGM a bit because it was a little loud. I don't think I would stand a chance against Kimberly. I feel like Kimberly is like a person who would work very hard to get her hands on the knowledge in the first place. So if there was like prep time, she'd just completely destroy me. What do I mean? It's like the Batman of prep time. I mean, Kimberly of prep time would just completely destroy me. Alright, next up we have Jury. Jury does not give a crap about the rules. You could tell her something and she would just completely ignore it because it's more fun. I'm gonna put her in I would intellectually dominate them because I guarantee she wouldn't think taking the test is fun. And she'd just give up at the second that I would suggest it. So I think I would win just by default. Alright, Doxxing's up next. Doxxing is an interesting case. I don't know for a fact if... So Doxxing is a monk. We know that for a fact. But he seems to... She seems like the kind of person that is smart and that doesn't try. Absolutely. She absolutely is. She absolutely is the kind of person who would... I think that is smart but wouldn't try. Like, you tell her everything that she knows, she would completely understand it, and then Jury would just completely and utterly ignore it. Or for no reason. Like, she knows what she's doing. It's not the right answer. So she would... So, yeah. Anyway, back to Doxxing. Doxxing is very smart. And on top of that, he's not just like your normal monk. Like, this guy... Like, in normal... Like, I feel like this is a case where, like, combat is not really... Where combat potential is kind of brought up when bringing up how smart the character is. Because Doxxing's religion literally gives him, like, a bunch of abilities. Like, his yoga allows him to stretch around and stuff to an extreme degree. He can breathe fire. Like, this guy knows a lot. This guy is probably, like, the textbook definition of, like, book smart. I think I'm going to put Doxxing in the they outsmart everyone, no question tier. Because Doxxing is just, like, I imagine is just like, wise on a completely different level. I'm pretty sure, I don't think he's like final boss material, but I guarantee if you tried to go like toe to toe with him, he would absolutely just destroy you in multiple ways. E Honda is going to be our first member in the genuinely unintelligent tier. I don't think I struggle a lot with this thing with him at all. Literally his entire thing is sumo, and more sumo. But unlike Ryu, where it seems like he would understand cultures a lot better. The thing about Honda is just only really cares about sumo. In his Street Fighter 6 lore cutscene, he tried to open a restaurant in Paris in the middle of an amusement park, which wasn't really a great idea because he ended up having to fight just to get rejected. He seems like he's a person who just does not understand and like what's going on outside of his hyperfixation. So I genuinely think that he probably goes in the genuinely unintelligent tier. I'm sorry, Honda. Like, I would absolutely destroy you. Ken is very similar to Ryu, but I feel like I would put him below Ryu, just based on the fact that, just based on the simple fact that, he's American, and Americans are stupid. That is the fundamental reason for why Ken is below Ryu. But beyond that, they trained under the same master. They had a lot of stuff. They had a bunch of different. They have a shared backstory. They probably see each other as equals in combat. But I don't really know if that's the case in like. I don't think that's the case in terms of like intelligence. So I'm just gonna assume that because Ken's American, Ken is dumber than Ryu. Blanca, I feel like this one doesn't have. I don't need really an explanation. Blanca is genuinely unintelligent. Blanca is not even on the list. You aren't being the American the Japanese see you as. Don't worry, we'll get to people. We'll get to that. All right. Next up is DJ. DJ is a little bit complicated. So like many characters in Street Fighter's lore, they aren't just all professional fighters. They all do things on the side. DJ is a musician, and DJ is incredibly knowledgeable in like in arts of like music and dance and stuff and some things like that, to an absolutely extreme degree. And when it comes to fighting, he's very like laid back and doesn't really show it off because he imagines that things are more fun that way. So when it comes to intelligence, I feel like DJ is someone who would know everything in a lot of sense and be very smart, but only would do things because it would be fun. I feel like because of that reason, it makes him pretty hard to rank. Because if it's not like dance or music, he wouldn't take it extremely seriously. So it's going to be a very hard thing to rank. I'd say DJ. I think DJ would mop the floor for me intellectually. I think DJ would surprise me. I think that he is like not very smart at the start, but then just get completely destroyed by him. So I honestly think, I feel very strong about it. I feel DJ would honestly. I think DJ's up here. I don't think he's as smart as Kim or Chun-Li, but I think that Kimberly's definitely smarter than Chun-Li. What am I saying? Manon is weird. I don't think that in her entire lore, they discuss like what her intelligence is like. Because the thing is with Manon, Manon. I'm not pronouncing it correctly because she's French. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that she's French. But when thinking about Manon's like intelligence as a whole, I don't know like how it is. Like she's like very similar to DJ. She's very good at performing, and she's but like how does that knowledge translate to, hey, I'm going to be taking a test, and if whoever scores a higher grade doesn't die. Like I feel like for that reason that kind of keeps her mysterious, and I think I've just put her around the same level. I feel like that's a good place to put her. I think it will be a fair fight. I don't really have any expectations or anything that could like be preconceived against her. Marissa, I think Marissa's another weird case. Because you think of someone unbuilt like her, you wouldn't imagine her to be like very smart. Wouldn't imagine her to be very smart. But in her lore, she actually is incredibly smart, knowing a lot about history and knowing a ton about like jewelry and stuff like that. Like, I feel like she's another character who I think would be unexpectedly smart. Like, she's not as smart as like say DJ would be, but I think that she would be a lot smart, be unexpectedly like surprising. I think that she'd be smart, but I could stand a chance. I think it's in a similar case to Guile. JP. I want to tell you the story of Street Fighter 6. And this is spoiler territory. But basically, JP literally is the guy behind everything at the end of it, and it's such a complicated thing, a plan, and the whole purpose of this is for the purpose of money laundering. Like, that's the entire point of what JP is doing. He set this entire plan just for money laundering purposes. And on top of that, this is the guy who literally is like the head accountant for Shadaloo, the villainous organization for the past couple games. Like, if you're in that organization, you have to be pretty book smart. I think that he's smarter than Doxxing is. Yeah, JP absolutely is intelligent. He would destroy me, no question. I think for Street Fighter, he's final boss material. Cammy is a little bit weird. The thing about Cammy is Cammy is another Fed. But the difference is I think that she's probably the least smart of the Feds, because she's basically a part of a group of mercenaries. Not really like international police or anything like that. That being said, though, she did spend a lot of time like learning and understanding things. Plus, she originally worked under Shadaloo, but eventually got amnesia and lost her entire memory. But she still kept her muscle memory. So I think for that reason, I think I'm gonna put her around the same level. I feel like her memory is really good. But beyond that, I don't think that she's the most intelligent in the world. So I feel pretty solid about putting her around the same level as me. Lily, I think, is in the exact same case as Ryu and Ken. She's another character who likes traveling a bunch and knows a lot of like stuff about her history. So I personally feel like she would probably actually, I think that she's the top of this tier, I think. Because she seems to be the one who does it the most. And like Doxxing, she's spiritual, not really religious. So I feel like she, in a way, would know a lot more than someone, I think, than Ryu and Ken would in a lot of cases. So yeah, I'm gonna say that she's mostly smart. I'm mostly smarter, but I feel like in some things, she would absolutely destroy them. You know, maybe we're gonna put her around the same level. Bottom of around the same level. I think that's good. Actually, no, above Cammy. Above Cammy. Alright. Zangief. I think that the Geef. So I feel like the Geef is like a Heavy case. You know the thing with Heavy from Team Fortress 2? You think you think that Heavy is like this big dumb idiot who doesn't know anything. But in actuality, he's fairly smart and doesn't have any, and actually does understand things. I feel like Zangief is this too. Zangief in Street Fighter 6 is like the attitude of a gym bro. So I feel like he would care a lot, but behind that I feel like he would actually be really intelligent. So I think that he's at the top of this tier. I think that this is that would be a good spot for him. I don't think he would mop the floor with me or something, but I feel like he would be like decently smart. I think he's smarter than Guile anyway. Alright, next up is the DLC characters. Rashid is rich and a streamer, which automatically makes you less intelligent. I think it's like a natural debuff. If you stream, you are automatically you're a little bit psychotic. So because of this, I'm gonna put Rashid in the around the same level tier. I feel like that it would completely be balance out well. Yeah, I think so. I honestly think so. Alright, we're moving on. Alright, Aki. Alright, next up is Aki. Aki is another similar case to Doxxing, where her in-game abilities actually would actually matter a lot. In her case, she works under an organization that literally kills people with poison. She's an assassin, and she's one of the highest ranking members in that group. So I feel like she understands poison and chemistry stuff very well. Kind of a similar case to Kimberly. I feel like Aki would... I don't think Aki is as smart as Kimberly, because she's also kind of like got that jury thing going on where she knows what's going on. But I think the difference is Aki would be intelligent to would use what was her knowledge to curse more people in a way. So I think because of that alone, I think that would automatically put her in this tier. She's nowhere near as smart as she's not like these three. It's not like these two, but I think that she is at the bottom of this tier at least. Wait, he doesn't have great AI in him, so he's not smart. That's also true. He's also rich, so I'm gonna put him. I'm mostly smarter. We're gonna put him both under Ryu and Ken. I also forgot to mention that Ken is also rich, but he's above Rashid because he's not a streamer, so that automatically puts him above. Ed. So, just like at Cammy, Ed is also a clone of M. Bison. But the difference here is how he was raised. Cammy was raised by a bunch of mercenaries after she got a release. Ed was raised by a freaking dirty boxer. He's raised by Balrog, who is basically a dirty boxer who is based off of Mike Tyson, and he's taught how to fight. Okay. On top of that, he also has a bunch of psycho power going around. So honestly, I don't think Ed's that smart. I honestly think I don't think he would even top the list in a lot of cases. At least with Luke and Jamie, I feel like both of them would know a lot. I think would be aware, would at least know the bare basics of things. And I don't think they would think. I don't think Ed is that smart. He's got that psycho power we're going through him, and he's probably a bit crazy. I don't think he'd be the top the tip would be top. And no, fighting knowledge does not save you here unless it's your sole passion. So Ryu gets to rank higher because of this, but that's why Honda's also ranked lower. Next up is Akuma. Akuma is an interesting one. So Akuma is very similar to Ryu in the fact that he's a master in what he does. So where is M. Bison then? We'll get to M. Bison. Akuma, I think, is very similar to Ryu in that he does everything. That he's very passionate about his craft and very passionate about fighting, and I guarantee he knows everything about it, inside and out. That being said, though, Akuma does not know culturally as much as Ryu and Ken do. I think that's another advantage that Rashid has too. Rashid knows a lot culturally because he's very similar to Lily and Ryu because he also travels around the world. He just live streams his fights because he thinks fights are good content. That's actually his lore. But Akuma doesn't do that. Akuma basically just spends his entire time training. It's like a guy who spends all of his time I'm researching how to make a movie, but doesn't actually do anything to make that movie. Like, the only time he's only fought, like, I think 3 or 4 characters of canonically in the entire series. So honestly, I think that if that were the case intellectually, I think I would stomp him. I think that Luke is smarter though. I think that's honestly the case. Okay. So, I know this is confusing. This is M. Bison. Okay, hear me out. Okay, this is M. Bison. This version of M. Bison, though, got amnesia after he presumably died. I don't know exactly how M. Bison ended up this way, because he isn't out in Street Fighter 6 yet. We won't know for another couple days. So, we're going to assume M. Bison based off of his previous stuff instead of his previous actions instead of any current actions that he has. Because all these other characters at least have like stuff in Street Fighter 6 and 4 and 5 that I can judge them based off of. Bison, we just have his past actions. And I genuinely think that Bison goes up here. I think that he's because Bison. Man, I need the full Orb Street Fighter video. There is one by Clement Jr. 64 you can watch. There is a lot of lore. Like it's for such a popular series. Like the lore is like absolutely insane, and like nobody knows about it. But yeah, Bison has multiple times orchestrated events that allow for him to basically resurrect from the dead. He's learned how to create He's learned how to basically leave an entire terrorist organization. He learns how to create artificial bodies for himself. He is incredibly intelligent, I think. So honestly, I think that Bison goes and they outsmart everyone, no question. I don't think he's smarter than JP, because JP is just smart on an entirely different level. And Doxxing, I think, is also smarter, because Doxxing, I imagine, is a lot more wise than Bison. Bison, I think, is a lot more full of himself, and so I think that he would, like, answer things that he would think that he knew, but he would get them wrong. So honestly, yeah. Anyway, this is the tier list. I think I'm gonna change the orders around a little bit. Is there anything that I think I would change? No, I don't think there's anything I think I would change. I think Honda's smarter than Ed, but beyond that, I think that this is a pretty solid list for Street Fighter 6. If you're looking for the template for this, the template is Street Fighter 6 tier list maker. This list includes M. Bison. I'm also not going to scroll up a whole bunch because there's ads, and I don't want those ads to demonetize me. If I could, I would give a full lore breakdown of the entire COD Zombies story. Just some games just have lore that is just insane. Yeah, this story is also pretty insane. Like, for such a popular series, like, a lot of the lore wasn't like fully explored until fairly recently. I do plan. But that's for another day though. Anyway, next up is Smash Ultimate. I'm moving Ryu down a bit because I thought about it a bit. So we're not going to be ranking Ryu and Ken because Ryu and Ken are basically the same here. And as you can see here, we have another tier. This tier is called Incapable. It's for one specific character. So yeah, we're going to figure out, and you're going to be able to figure out who that is as time goes on. So first off, we have Mario. Now, Mario, this is gonna take some time. I'll try to be as brief as possible some of these, because I don't think there's like as in-depth. There's a lot of in-depth reasons. Some of them there is like in-depth reasons, but for a lot of them, like I don't think there is as much. So for Mario, I think is like a good guy, but I don't think he's very smart. I feel like in ways he knows very. I feel like in a very. in like a typical like main character syndrome way. He knows a lot of things. He knows a lot about like a few specific things, and that's really it. Like, he's a plumber, so he knows like plumbing and how to operate toilets and stuff. And because of that, he's able to like go down pipes. Yeah, we understand. We understand that from Mario. That's the complicated Mario lore. All the Fire Emblem characters are near the top, though. They are all tactical geniuses. We'll get to that. The Fire Emblem characters have very different positions. Trust me. But I think for Mario, though, I think Mario... but that being said, though, Mario knows how to do a lot of different things. Like, he knows how to use power-ups almost immediately. He knows how to drive a car. But I don't think that would really go into, like, intelligence. I think that for that reason, I'm going to put him in... I am mostly smarter. I'm going to put him in between Ryu and Ken. Actually, no, I'm going to put him above Ryu. Because I think he knows a lot of specific stuff. But honestly, I don't think that's going to... I don't think it's enough to, like, put him around the same level as me. Alright, Donkey Kong. DK. Yeah, I would intellectually dominate them. On one hand, he is a gorilla. So that makes him automatically smart. But the problem is, Donkey Kong is kind of stupid. In Donkey Kong Country Returns, when he's being hypnotized by the evil tiki masks things, he is so stupid that he is unable to get hypnotized. So because of that fact alone, I would intellectually dominate Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong just is not that smart. Also, human, and he's got incredible IQ based on how quick he has learned things. He can adapt to things really quickly. Yeah, you have a good point there. You have a really good point there. I think I'm gonna put him. That actually changes my mind. Smart but I think that I think Mario's a lot smarter. He actually has a pretty good. I imagine he'd have a pretty good IQ. But yeah, DK is fundamentally very stupid. I don't think he knows a lot of I don't think he understands the concept of anything. He's the big dumb monkey for a reason. He's not genuinely unintelligent because he is a gorilla, and he does understand his surroundings. And gorillas are relatively intelligent, so I don't think that it's gonna be that bad. But like, he's not gonna rank that high. Another character that's not very intelligent, and this is what's probably gonna get me canceled, is Link. Actually, I'm gonna put him in I'm mostly smarter. Okay, so the reason I was gonna put Link a lot lower originally, but I then remembered something. I remembered that in Breath of the Wild, he's able to craft like a lot of different recipes on his own with very little knowledge. So implying that he just like understands these recipes, or at least knows them through trial and error or something like that. And he has a lot of skill with like a lot of different weapons and stuff like that. So maybe he's a lot smarter than I give him credit for. It depends on the Link. Yeah, it does depend on the Link. Because spoiler alert, some of the characters I'm going to be ranking are going to be like actual children, so I don't think I may stand a chance against a lot of them. I may not. But I'm starting to think that Breath of the Wild Link is actually a lot smarter than I give him credit for. But I don't think he's like Mario smart. I think I'm gonna put him around the same level. If this were Twilight, if he still had his Twilight Princess design, I would probably put him down above DK. But I think that because of it's Breath of the Wild one, I think he's a lot smarter than I give him credit for. Lol. Hey Emiliano, welcome to the stream. We're ranking how smart I am against Smash Bros. Characters. Alright, we have Samus and Dark Samus. Samus outsmarts me, no question. Samus is a bounty hunter, implying that she knows basically everything about her target, including their weaknesses and what they're like. She's basically fought some of the... She understands basically everything. She can pilot ships. She can operate any weapon imaginable. She can touch Chozo things to completely understand them. Yeah, no questions asked. Samus is very smart. She's probably the smartest of the original Smash Bros. Characters, honestly. Dark Samus is a little bit of a different thing. I think Dark Samus is more animalistic. Because this is based off of Metroid Prime 3 Corruption's Dark Samus boss fight, where a parasite kind of takes over. So I imagine it's a very animalistic creature that only really understands hunting. Because of this, I think it's genuinely unintelligent. I think that compared to Samus, it doesn't know enough. It's just a cheap knockoff of Samus. Another character that would absolutely be like that is Yoshi. Yoshi is a dinosaur. We do not understand the intelligence of dinosaurs, at least we don't think so yet. And what's worse is Yoshi is not really a dinosaur, he's more like a dog or a horse. And neither of those are that smart either. So, yeah, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I'm pretty sure I'm smarter than both of those things. I'm sorry. Kirby... I'm sorry, I would intellectually dominate Kirby. I'm sorry. Kirby would absolutely destroy me in basically every other competition I imagine, especially if it involved food. But Kirby is not like the most intelligent thing ever. Although, there is something to be said though, because like what we said about Mario, he's able to learn a lot in a very quick amount of time. But he also kind of has a similar thing to DJ in that he just doesn't care. So I personally think that maybe I'm gonna put him in I'm mostly smarter. Mainly at the top of I'm mostly smarter. Yoshi has some intelligence. The Yoshi's Island games have them doing puzzles and showing some intelligence. That's a good point. Okay, because of that, I'm gonna put him. I'm gonna re-rank Yoshi. Yoshi, I think, is gonna rank under DK, because DK is the exact same thing. DK has been implied to be very stupid, but also still solve similar puzzles in the Donkey Kong Country games. So by extension, if Yoshi can also solve those puzzles, I think DK would be smarter than Yoshi. But anyway, back to the Kerbo. Kerbo, I think, is definitely smart. I think Kerbo is probably smarter than a lot of characters, but I also feel like he's kind of stupid in a lot of senses. I feel like it would depend on the copy ability, but for most of them, I think he would be mostly smarter. Alright, Fox. If we're going off the lore of the Star Fox games, which I don't really understand very well, I think Fox would be smarter. Boyo. Yes, Boyo. The power of Poyo compels us. But yeah, I think Fox is... I don't know. Fox, I think, is around... I think Fox is smart. I mean, it's very similar to Guile. He's very similar to Guile, I guess. He's a military man. He understands things. He isn't cocky or arrogant or anything like that. I feel like he's a little bit smarter than Mario. Oh. Yeah, he's a good pilot, but, like, beyond a good pilot, like, what else is he? He's just kind of a guy. And I guess he can't. He's not like Samus, where he's a good pilot and he knows all this other stuff. He's kind of alone in a lot of cases. Pikachu. So for a majority of Pokemon, I feel like this is gonna apply to them. But I genuinely do not think Pikachu is that intelligent. I love the little guy, but if Yoshi and DK are kind of animals, Pikachu basically is an animal. I don't think Pikachu would even qualify in a lot of cases. I think he's smarter than Dark Samus, because Dark Samus didn't give up, because at least with Pokemon, and this applies to all Pokemon, by the way, they're all going to rank above Dark Samus, because, at least in their case, it says they understand emotion, and they can at least have a knowledge of that, which Dark Samus just does not understand. Now, Luigi, this is also probably a hot take, but I think Luigi would mop the floor with me intellectually. I think we were to assume that this is Ash's Pikachu. Yeah, we're gonna assume that this is Ash's Pikachu. So we're gonna assume that because it's the one from the anime. It's the one that everyone knows. That's the most characterized Pikachu that there is. But even without the understanding of human emotions and stuff like that, it's not going to be. They're not going to be on the same level of DK and Yoshi, who have been able to solve puzzles. So I think they're probably smarter. But yeah, Luigi I think is extremely smart. You see, I think Luigi has like that thing where he's like, Mario's the more social and outgoing one and stuff like that, but Luigi like knows his stuff. On top of that, we know he has skills that Mario doesn't, because the Luigi's Mansions game exists, and he knows how to capture ghosts. So because of that, I think that gives him an advantage automatically over Mario, because that's a skill that he doesn't have. Plus, I know I said this was a con for Ken, but he got rich by himself. If you don't know, at the end of the original Luigi's Mansion, he gets a mansion upgrade, and that implies that he's actually a very rich character. So, implying that he made all this money by himself, I don't think he's as smart as Samus, because he doesn't know everything, and I think his fear kind of clouds his intellect in some cases. But I think he would absolutely mop the floor with me. Ness is a child. I would intellectually dominate them. I'm sorry. Actually, yeah, this is why Smash Bros. Is so interesting. It actually puts things into question. So Ness is psychic, but he's also just a kid. This is literally a guy who literally has the ability to cast magic spells at any time he wants. But again, he's just a child. I think putting him in I'm mostly smarter, I think, is the safest bet here. I'm gonna put him right above Ryu because he actually has smart, but below Kirby because Kirby's IQ is probably very high. And for Smash 64. Next up is Captain Falcon. So Captain Falcon, you think that he would be in the same tier as Fox because he's a pilot, he's a racer, maybe even below these guys. But he's actually a bounty hunter. In the F-Zero games, Captain Falcon is actually a bounty hunter, very similar to Samus in that regard. So, in that similar way, he knows a lot about, and probably even more so than Samus in some cases. So before we cope too much, explore your powers and abilities. First of all, this is an intellect contest, not a fight contest. But beyond that, I'm a wizard, so that means magic. Yes, magic. Okay, but Falcon, I think Falcon would know a lot about specific. I feel like when it comes to street smarts, Falcon would probably be like the smartest person of the bunch. Like I feel like he absolutely dominates like everyone else in terms of the street smart category. So we understand because of not only being a racer but also a bounty hunter. But yeah, this is. So I feel like, I don't think he's smarter than Luigi, but I think that he's smarter than everybody else because he definitely knows a lot of things. All right, and lastly is Jigglypuff, and Jigglypuff is going below Pikachu. This is because, and this is actually related to game knowledge. Intelligence in Pokemon, I think I'm going to translate to the Pokemon special attack stat, and Pikachu has a higher special attack stat than Jigglypuff does. So, that automatically makes Pikachu smarter. Not just that though, Jigglypuff doesn't really seem to understand anything I mean, just look at those eyes, there's not really any thoughts in those eyes. I imagine that it can understand emotions like Pikachu, but I just don't think it's as smart. I guess it can learn a lot of moves, which may save it in some cases, but doesn't even use a lot of them in Smash Bros. Alright, next up is Mr. Beast. I mean, Princess Peach. So, Mr. Beast is very complicated. I don't really know how to where to put Mr. Beast. Because in a lot of games, Mr. Beast isn't really a damsel in distress. But it kind of, in some games Mr. Beast does a lot, and like has a lot of knowledge and stuff like that. Like I know a lot of people would probably assume Mr. Beast is like a dumb blonde. I think we can say Ash's Pikachu is the smartest of Pokemon. Smartest of the Pokemon. No, there actually is one more that is smarter in my opinion. There's actually two that are smarter, but Mewtwo is definitely at the top of the list if you're wondering. Anyway, back to Mr. Beast. I don't really know how to rank Mr. Beast. Like, very similarly to Mario, she has a high IQ, I think. I think everyone in the Mushroom Kingdom probably does because of their ability to, like, adapt to things relatively quickly. I feel like I feel like we're around the same level. Mr. Beast is probably around the same level as me, in my opinion. I don't think that she is, like, smarter or dumber in some ways. It's a very similar case to Manon, where I just, like, I don't know where she would go. Peach definitely has some smarts. Yeah, she does, but does she have a lot of them? Like, when, in every game where she does the things, and she's awesome in those games. And don't get me wrong, like, it's usually in the game of Mario, and Mario can do similar things. With the exception of, like, the DS Princess Peach game and Princess Peach Showtime. But again, Mario is shown to also have similar abilities. So is it special? So is it as smart? I feel like maybe... Okay, I just remembered something. She's a princess. She probably has some political power or something like that. So she probably has some knowledge of ruling a kingdom and stuff. So I feel like she would be smart. But I don't think she's, like, incredibly smart. I think that she's smarter than... She's smarter than Mario, I think. But then again... She has been captured... Like, actually... No, I'm not gonna hold that against her. That's because Bowser's just strong. Daisy... I don't know how to feel about Daisy. We don't really... Again, it's a very similar case to the rest of the Mario thing, where whenever Mario goes through something, Daisy's typically there too. She runs a whole game which requires intelligence. Yeah, but I feel like Daisy is, like, less smart because I think that in her mind she just thinks that it's just less important to her, I imagine. So I feel like that the two of that would be like similar minded. I'm also going to move Yoshi up to I am mostly smarter to under Ness, and the reason I'm doing this is because, again, if we've established that the Mario characters have, like, pretty high IQs and stuff like that, and are able to learn things quickly, then I feel like Yoshi would probably have a similar case to a lot of... I feel like Yoshi would have a similar case where he would have an understanding of, like, how things are possible. It's like if they taught the horse how to drive, basically. That's why I'm moving Yoshi up to I am mostly smarter. Alright. Bowser. So I guess Bowser... So, I don't really know how... So, Bowser in multiple cases have shown that he is is kind of smart and kind of stupid. Now I know his stupidness is kind of played for comedy whenever it happens, but I think he's going to be around the same level. I know that he rules a kingdom like Peach does, but I mean, for one, he tries the same thing over and over again and expects it to work. Except in Mario Wonder when he didn't do that. And sure, he's like, and I mean, on one hand, he's smart enough to. I mean, on one hand, he's smart enough to try to, like, take possession of an entire castle to try to take over a kingdom. And then, but then on the other hand, he's dumb enough to think that a poster of Mr. Beast is Mr. Beast. So I don't think that's the case. He's also Jack Black, so he dominates. Yeah, that is true. But even then, he wasn't that smart either. He's probably not the smartest villain on the list, I don't think. He's smart. He's definitely in this tier, but I don't think he's smarter than Daisy. Alright, the Ice Climbers. Ice Climbers, I think, are gonna... I don't know where to put the Ice Climbers. I don't know if these... If like, the Ice Climbers, design-wise, are children, or they're supposed to be, like, grown adult... They're supposed to be grown adults or something like that. From my perspective, all they do is, like, all they look like they do is, like, they just climb icicle mountains all the time. Which, I mean, it's a skill you need to know a lot for. But I don't think they know anything else. I think that these guys are below DK. I don't think they stand a chance. Alright, Zelda and Sheik are the same person, but I guess technically these are different timelines. Children, but they really know how to climb a mountain. Which, I guess that's props. Like, have you ever played Ice Climber before? It's literally what it literally is what it says on the tin. You just climb a mountain. That's what you do. You hit up ice blocks and you climb a mountain. And in Smash Bros. Melee, their stage is a stage where you climb a mountain. And in Brawl, in Subspace Emissary, they climb a mountain. What? Spoilers? Yeah. Sorry for the spoilers for, like, the nearly 40-year-old game. Sorry. Anyway. So, first of all, I think we're going to rank Zelda before we rank Sheik. Zelda is absolutely going up to... They outsmart everyone, no questions asked. Zelda is not Mr. Beast. Zelda is incredibly intelligent. This isn't even her smartest incarnation, where she's literally out and researching stuff. I don't think she's as smart as Samus, but she has the ability to, like, conjure things and use magic. She also has the ability to summon soldiers and stuff like that. And this is another thing when I brought up with, like, how magic affects combat. Like, if the character is magical or psychic in some way, shape, or form, that's probably going to affect their intelligence, I think. In fact, you know what? She's smarter than Samus. She's ranked number 1 right now. This incarnation of Zelda is the Link to the Past Zelda, I think. Which still implies that she has the Triforce of Wisdom. So I think that, honestly, she probably knows a freaking lot. Sheik, though... This is Ocarina of Time Sheik. Well, it's the only Sheik that exists. Sheik is a ninja, so... Magic tends to require sparks? Exactly. That's why I'm doing this ranking in the first place. Also, do not say that I'm a less powerful wizard just because of this. I sound like XQC there. Chat. The Triforce Wisdom literally grants incredible wisdom. Yeah, so I think that putting her at the top... is a pretty safe bet. I think putting her at the top is a fairly safe bet for right now. Sheik is Zelda. I think we all know that, but... I mean, if Sheik is basically Zelda, is there really a reason to not rank her, put her, like, right beside her? I don't think there's any reason. If they're the same person. Alright, Dr. Mario. This man is a PhD. That automatically means that he's intelligent. I'm getting destroyed. I don't think there's much explanation other than that. He literally has doctor in his name. He's so intelligent, as a matter of fact. He can literally shove pills down your body and somehow cure you. But it's not the same as, like, having an actual magical wisdom, so I don't think that's gonna make him count. Pichu is a child. Moving on. Falco is also an ace pilot, kind of like Fox. But I think the problem is that he has a lot of confidence in himself. Does he have a PhD, though? Yes, he does. Dr. Mario, of course, is a PhD. Anyway, Falco's hard to decide, because I think Falco's very similar case to Ken, where the other version of him is smarter. Because he's more cocky. And his cockiness and his arrogance will eventually be his downfall. So I think he's smarter than me. I think he's a little bit smarter than me, but I think that he's not as smart as some other characters who would take their time and be a little more careful. In fact, maybe, no, not around the same level. I don't think he's on the same level as Link, Bowser, or Daisy. Alright, Marth. Marth the Fire Emblem. Marth, I think Marth and Lucina, I think, are both different cases. So, a bit of a spoilers, I have not... The only Fire Emblem game I have played is Three Houses. So, my bias on this is incredibly thin. So, I can't really tell you what the characters do or not do. So, I'm probably going to be wrong. The video dropped off the Fire Emblem camera. I think that honestly, they both have led entire armies. That's true. That is true. Commanding over political influence has given a lot of people advantages. But there is kind of a difference though. So I think that I think the difference is that Marth is has led entire armies, while Lucina I think was just a part of an army in Fire Emblem Awakening. So I can't say for certain which one is more popular in some cases. Well, not more popular, because I don't know, because I can't say that, but I don't really know how intelligent they are. But that also applies to every Fire Emblem character. Like, every Fire Emblem character has that advantage. But some have more control than others. So, I'm gonna say Marth is gonna go... I say Marth is going to go in... would mop the floor in me intellectually. I think that's where he would go. And I think Lucina would, by extension, would go in a lower tier because she's a soldier. Marth is a king as well. Okay, then I move him to the top. I don't think he's as knowledgeable as Samus is, because Samus has all the technology and stuff that she can operate. So I think that he belongs there. Lucina, though, I'm gonna rank below Fox because, well, Lucina is just a soldier. Lucina is not really a king or anything like that. So I think that I'm gonna put Lucina below Peach. Or sorry, Mr. Beast. Young Link is a child. I mean, I would dominate. Roy has also commanded entire armies, so I think that by extension, I think that gives us a good advantage. I think that gives him a good advantage here. I think that he's actually more of a military guy instead of Marth, who's just a king. So I think maybe so the question is, should we put him higher because of his knowledge of battle? I don't know. I think Marth is probably the second smartest Fire Emblem character on the list. Robin's probably smarter. I actually disagree with that. There's one character... I actually disagree with that. There is a character who's smarter than them. So I think that... So yeah, I think Roy's gonna go smart, but I think I could pull... No. I'm gonna put him off the floor intellectually. Alright. Ganondorf. Oh wait, I forgot to rank Chrom. Chrom is also a soldier. I think I'm gonna put him in similar case as Lucina. I think he's gonna be around the same level. He hasn't really commanded armies or anything like that. I think for that reason he's gonna be a little bit lower. Anyway, now we're back to Ganondorf. Ganon does have unique plans every single time he does something. That automatically, I think, puts him above Bowser. Because Bowser just does the same thing over and over again and thinks that's gonna work. So Ganon, I think, is automatically going to be a lot smarter than a lot of other villains in that regard. Plus, he can keep coming back, so he kind of has like that M. Bison thing. And he does have commands over a lot of things. And he is genuinely seen as threatening every time he appears. I think that for that fact... I don't think he would be at rank as high as Bison, because Bison's plans every time are intricate and thorough and follow through every time. But I think that honestly, I think Ganon is pretty smart though. I think that he's smarter than Luigi, but I don't think he's smarter than Marth. Okay, so the Mewtwo question. Do we place Mewtwo at number 1? Mewtwo is literally designed to be the smartest Pokemon ever. He is psychic, he can understand humans, he basically has every feature that a Pokemon has. Mewtwo has probably the strongest telekinesis in the entire game. His special attack is also sky high because he's a legendary Pokemon. The question is though, is he smarter than Zelda or not? He's absolutely smarter than Dr. Mario and Samus. But is he smarter than Zelda? Because the thing is that Mewtwo isn't capable of speech. He's capable of some powerful stuff, but he's not capable of speech. But like, that's a good question. I think, okay, I did remember something. I remember that Mewtwo does have a Mega Evolution that he does transform to in his final Smash. So I think for that reason alone, I think Mewtwo just completely destroys me. And I think he may be the smartest on this list. It's just out of pure principle. I don't think we get much smarter than this. I don't think he's like Galaxy Brain intelligent. But I definitely think he challenges JP. Alright, Mr. Game & Watch. So, Mr. Game & Watch, I think is a very similar case to Mario, where, you know, he knows, he's had a lot of jobs, so he understands a lot about, like, about what goes around stuff. So he is able to learn a lot. I think for that reason, so I can't place him low, because he's too smart to be placed low. I think, though, at the end of the day, this guy is just kind of like an average dude. The only Pokemon who is smarter than Mewtwo is probably the little god itself, Arceus. True. Cool. But yeah, I don't really know where I put Mr. Game & Watch. I think I put him around the same level, even though he has taken a lot of jobs and understands them, because I think he's just kind of like an average guy. Like, he's not the Super Mario or something like that. He doesn't have, like, ability. He doesn't know how to jump super high or anything like that. He's kind of just Mr. Game & Watch. Alright, Meta Knight. So, Meta Knight's probably the smartest character out of his universe that's in Smash Bros. If we're implying, like, all the rules that are given to other characters. Because he has led armies before, which is found in the Kirby Superstar games. He knows a lot about swordplay, which is found in every game that he's in. He knows how to pilot ships. He can summon tornadoes, so he probably has something magical about him. I feel like he's smart, but he's not like the most intelligent thing ever. I think I put him above Falco. Because yeah, he did all that stuff. He knows a lot of things, but like, how effective can he be because of those tiny little arms? That short range can't kill anything. He sucks. This post was made by a Meta Knight main. Alright, Pit is not very smart. This version of Pit is based off of Kid Icarus Uprising's Pit, and this Pit is not smart at all. He is very anime protagonist-esque, kind of like Ryu in a lot of ways. I think I put him in a similar level to Ryu, and Dark Pit being a clone of him, I think I'm just gonna put him below Ken. I feel like this is probably the case. This is probably, like, I believe the case. He's very similar to Link, but unlike Link, he doesn't really have like a ton of. certainly couldn't be a whole reason for a new tier on tier lists. Shh. Those were the better times. Anyway. Pitt's not very smart, so I don't think I'm gonna rank him very high. He's proficient in weapons, but I don't think there's not a lot other than that to rank him on. And Dark Pit I don't think is much smarter because he's probably a lot more cocky. Again, Ryu Ken situation. The only reason why Dark Pit's probably closer is because he's just a generic evil clone. Wow. And Zero Suit Samus is just Samus, so we're just gonna put her in the same tier as Samus. Wario. Alright, Wario. Listen. Wario may be disgusting. But this guy. You know where I'm gonna put this guy? I'm gonna put him right here. Because he's actually very similar to JP. He's very good with money. He's very knowledgeable on tons of things. He runs his own game company. He invented his own games. He got his friends to get other work for him to create his 8-set games, and he's been able to make tons of money based off of them. Like, this man is absolutely intelligent. There's no doubt about that. He also has the IQ bonus that a lot of the other Mario characters have. I don't think he's smarter than a literal doctor, but I think that he's pretty freaking smart. Like, Wario's gross, but he's not like he's not stupid. Stupid. Absolutely, that's absolutely the case. It's like the fact that Wario like was able to create like an entire company and just get rich off of it, and still make fart jokes. He's truly a commentary on CEOs in our world today. All right, Snake. Snake is another soldier, so I think that automatically gives him a little bit of an advantage. But I think the difference between Snake and someone like, say, Fox is Snake is constantly like in the trenches the whole time. He knows every behavior of his enemy. So I think because of that, he's fairly smart. I think because of that, I think he would mop the floor with me intellectually. All things considered, I think he would because I think he would understand how everything like ticks. I assume he has very quick reaction time and understand how things go like the second that they happen. Plus, he's very proficient in weapons. Plus, he's very sneaky, which requires a lot of patience. I think Snake absolutely goes high on the list. I think he goes higher than Luigi, and we're gonna move Roy up too because Roy's basically in a similar boat. I think Snake is absolutely fun. I think Snake is pretty smart. Ike. Do we have a similar case with Ike that we do with Marth? Because with Ike, like, I don't know. He's a tactical genius, of course. He has raging Asperger's. Who are you referring to, Snake? Well, I mean, physical disabilities do not matter when it comes to intelligence. Like, physical disabilities, mental disabilities, doesn't matter. It just matters on how smart they are. But yeah, I think, like, are you referring to Snake when you're saying that a human? Snake, okay, yeah. I think because of that I assume he's pretty smart. I still think he's pretty smart. Asperger's. No, it's why Snake knows how everything works. Okay, if that's the case, then I'm gonna put him in the same tier as Samus, because by extension, Samus also knows how everything works, and so because of that, I think that they're basically in the same tier. I think that because of that, they would share a tier in terms of intelligence. But anyway, back to Ike. I always forget Ike exists. Like in I know this is off topic, but like in Subspace Emissary, I could never find Ike. Like after he got freaking turned into a trophy, I found everyone except for him. Like it's so funny. I never find him. But anyway, how does he rank in terms of intelligence? All I know about Ike is that he fights for his friends and that his up B is really bad. I have never played his game before. I also know his game's like $200, so I don't really think... I guess I could put him in the same tier as Marth, because he's also kind of a tactical genius. But that just comes in the thing with Fire Emblem. I'm gonna say that he's the stupidest of the Fire Emblem characters. He would absolutely destroy me intellectually, but I don't think that. But he's probably the dumbest of the bunch. Okay, Pokemon Trainer. We're gonna rank the trainer himself, and then we're gonna rank all of his Pokemon individually. I made him in Brawl. Cool. Pokemon Trainer is a child, but he does know a lot. Like his entire point is going around catching Pokemon and stuff. So he obviously understands a lot about Pokemon. Which I guess is kind of like a Ryu thing, where he understands a lot about his craft and knows how to use it well. And in fact, because there's more Pokemon than there is like fights, I feel like Pokemon Trainer would rank higher. As for his Pokemon, I don't think that they're all that intelligent. I'd say the most smart is probably Charizard because of its higher special attack stat. I'd say it's probably the smartest of the genuinely unintelligent tier. Then Ivysaur, which I think would go above Pikachu, and Squirtle, which I think would go in between Jigglypuff. But that's just based on how stats work in the Pokemon games. There's not really anything that like determines like how their intelligence actually works. Alright, so next up is Diddy Kong. A child that understands the world of Pokemon, he's presumably the champion. We don't know that. We don't know if he's a champion. We just know that he's a Pokemon trainer, and that he was able to get a Charizard, a Charmander to level 36. That's the only thing that we know for a fact about him. But if he does have a genuinely good knowledge of Pokemon, you know, I feel like because of his knowledge of Pokemon, I'm gonna put him in the same tier. Oh right, which reminds me. If you guys like this video, or like this stream, you guys, I want to plan on doing another. If we can get to 100 subs by the end of the year, I'm going to do another one of these, where it's going to be, what Pokemon I can be in the fight. I'm going to rank every single Pokemon, and I'm going to give a detailed explanation of why that. So if you want that stream, by all accounts, subscribe. Anyway, back to Diddy Kong. Diddy Kong, I think, is gonna go... Chimps are smart, but I don't think he's much smarter than DK is. I'm gonna put him below DK because of that reason. And also, the Ice Climbers are probably smarter than... And Link is probably smarter. I imagine a child, even at their dumbest, is probably smarter than these two are. Lucas, by extent, I feel like is the reverse case of Mario and Luigi. Lucas probably, I think, even though because Lucas is a coward, he probably knows less. There's also the fact that in Mother 3, he's basically a ranch kid. Not like you guys would ever play it before, because Nintendo never released it. But because of that factor, it kind of changes like Lucas's outlook on how things would turn out. So I think that because of that, I think I would have a higher chance of being smarter because he's a farm kid and probably didn't have time to go to school. But I don't know, man. I'm trying to think of any explanation I can. That's a lot. Yes, it is. And I know it's scary right now, but it's only going to get worse. So keep that in mind. Sonic. I'd like to think Sonic's incapable of thought, but unfortunately that's not true. Sonic's the fastest thing alive, but like he isn't really like keen on intelligence. He kind of just brute forces his way through everything, like in every game if you really think about it. So I don't really know where I would put him. I feel like I'm smarter than Sonic. Like honestly, I don't think Sonic is that intelligent. Like the only thing that really makes him stand out is that he's a talking hedgehog, which yeah, I guess hedgehogs are I guess that's pretty cool that a hedgehog can talk. But it's like it's a game. I think I would dominate Sonic. Honestly. I honestly don't. I like genuine. I'm being honest here. I don't think Sonic stands a chance. Right. King DDD. I know he's a penguin, but he's an alien penguin, and I think that he's a very similar case to Jury, where he understands a lot, but he just doesn't care. So I personally think that he's rated very low on the tier list. Honestly, I think that because that he's rated a lot lower than DK and Giddy, because I think that he just knows things and he just doesn't care. There. He does a horrible job at raising his kingdom and gets attacked like every 5 days. He's a horrible king. And completely unbelievable, DDD. How dare you? DD dare you? Alright, Olimar. I think Olimar absolutely understands what he's doing. This guy's been stranded on a deserted planet like 5 times now, and he somehow is able to survive every single time, just because of his time management skills and like knowledge of Pikmin, and know how. I think because of that factor alone. Oh, and the fact that he's able to like fly a spaceship. Like, I think that because of that reason alone, he has to go in like one of the top tiers for sure. If this were rating Alpha, I think he'd be top tier, no question. But I think he goes top of, would mop the floor of me intellectually, because he understands like so many things. He knows planning. He understands money. I think he knows how to command armies. He can control ships. He knows a lot. Because of that, I think, and also because of the Piccolopedia in Pikmin 2 and in Pikmin 4, I think that because of that a factor alone, I think it's gonna bump him up a bit. I think I'm gonna put him at the bottom. I think he's gonna be below Snake. I think he's below Snake and Samus, but I don't think he's like above them or anything like that. Okay, so remember when I said that there was a Pokemon that I think is beyond Mewtwo that I think is smarter? This is that Pokemon. Lucario, it's just built different. I think that he has abilities that just other Pokemon do not have. In the main series, in the Pokemon games, it's called his aura, which basically lets it, which I think is like some sort of like connection that he has. It's like some sort of like telepathy, basically. I think because of that factor alone, and the fact that we've already set a precedence that magic does in fact make you smart, with like a very few exceptions like Psycho Power, I think because of that, I think Lucario is gonna go in around the same level tier. Like, sure, he's a dog, but this dog can read your mind. All right, Rob is a piece of 80s technology. Granted, this piece of 80s technology did save the video game crisis back in the 1980s. However, this piece of 80s technology did not work. Because of this, I'm going to put him in genuinely unintelligent tier. I want you to keep something in mind here. We are comparing the knowledge of me, a wizard, to a piece of technology from the 80s. Which one do you think is going to win? Yeah, Rob is the most unintelligent so far. I'm sorry. I know he's a robot, but he's not even a good job at being a robot. All he does is just pick things up and moves them. Like, that's something that anything can do. Anything with hands can do that, honestly. See, he's not incapable. So because of that, I'm not putting him in the incapable tier, but he's almost there. Honestly. Sorry, Rob. Still love you, though. I still love your moveset. Next up is Toon Link. Toon Link is also a child. But this time he's a lot more of a bumpkin. So because of that, I'm putting him below King Dedede. Alright, the last of Brawl's roster. Wolf. Wolf is another similar case to Fox and Falco. Oh, where I think that he's smart. I think he understands a lot. He still has a bit of that cockiness about him, though. And I think he also has a lot more of an ego than Falco does, I think. So because of that, I'm gonna put him around the same level. I think that he could have the potential to be a lot smarter than me. I feel like that's not gonna be the case beyond that. Let's rank him in Subspace Emissary. Well, here's the thing. If we're ranking him based off of Subspace Emissary, he also really doesn't do a lot there either. Because in Subspace Emissary, the Rob that we see there is being controlled by Ganondorf and Bowser. So by the same logic, he's kind of just following orders. He wouldn't be that much smarter because of that. I guess if that were the case, if we were ranking the Subspace justice for Rob, no, there's not justice for Rob. Okay, look, I understand that Rob is important. Rob saved the video game industry. I understand that. But this thing just does not work. If you've ever seen a Rob the Robot in action before, they're useless. They just play the game slower. Like they're not useful. This is the problem with having an actual appliance as a freaking Smash Bros. Thing. It's like if they had Pong as a character in Smash Bros. Like, okay, I'll give him a little bit of credit. I'll say that he's at least smarter than Pichu, because he's able to comprehend he's able to comprehend human emotion. So he's on the same level as a Pokemon. We're gonna say that at least. All right. Next up is Villager. Villager is also just a guy. So I think because of that he's a little bit higher than Mr. Game & Watch. You could say that because this is the New Leaf equivalent, he knows a lot of stuff. But at the same time, though, it's not really him that does all the work. It's Isabelle that does it all. So, like, I feel like he just kind of exists and flies around and just does things for other people. I will admit he is pretty educated, but I think that he's just kind of like a regular guy. I think that he's like on the higher end of things. I think that he's probably like the perfect middle ground because he's just a dude. All right. Mega Man is a robot. And unlike other robots, this robot seems to be programmed with a lot of intentionally things that make him smart, specifically the abilities to copy abilities. He's from Robot Masters. And I think just because he's an AI, I think that makes him smarter naturally. And we've implied that like knowing lots of abilities does make you smarter. So I think putting him in like a smart tier would be really good. He does kind of have like the anime protagonist like stupidness though in like some of the games. Like, you know, in like the Cursed Mega Man 8 cutscene where he has to stop Dr. Wawi. But, you know, I think that he could mop the floor with me intellectually. Actually, but only if he had like the right like Robot Master part or something. Wii Fit Trainer. This is the female version. I don't think that changes anything. I genuinely don't know where this... I feel like it's just gonna be the same around the same level. Because again, this is just an adult woman. I don't think that there's really much that changes that. Like, beyond like, I think she just goes in around the same level. Like, just like Rob, I think... I'm not Rob, Villager. She's just a normal person, her skin bleached white. I don't think that there's much difference. Okay, Rosalina. Now we have to ask a tough question. How do we rate gods in this? There are multiple characters in this, and also in Marvel vs. Capcom and Guilty Gear, that would probably classify as gods. And Rosalina is our first of many. So the question is, How on earth do we rate someone that freaking created, like, life itself? In Mario Galaxy, if you're wondering, Rosalina, if you're wondering, yes, Rosalina is technically a deity. So, I don't know how... I genuinely do not know how to rank her. Like, this is just based off of intelligence as a whole. Like, by definition, wouldn't a god, like, know more than, like, even, like, the most smart person in the universe? Yeah, honestly, this is a tricky one. Rosalina doesn't really do a lot with it throughout the course of Mario Galaxy. I mean, she does use it to get Comet Observatory, like, up and running and stuff like that. But, like, is it enough to beat Mewtwo? I'm gonna say, for now, no. All things considered. Alright, next up is Little Mac. Little Mac is very much a fighter, but I don't think he's as smart as someone like, say, Ryu. I think he would absolutely kick my butt, but I don't think his fighting knowledge is, like, as good enough to classify himself as, like, a genius compared to everybody else. So I think that because of that reason, even though his knowledge of boxing is pretty good, I don't think that's going to change his ranking. I think he's still, like, roughly around the same caliber as Pit and Dark Pit, but I think... No, we'll put him above Dark Pit, I think. Because he's not, like, cocky or anything like that. He knows his stuff. He follows boxing regulations. He understands things. Okay, Greninja. Greninja is... As much as I want to make a comment about Greninja, Greninja's kind of just is still a Pokemon. It's still a wild animal. I still think because of that reason, I'm gonna put it above Charizard just because its special attack is higher. The Miis. I think out of all of the characters, period, I think the Miis are just like the biggest case of this character is just a regular guy. So I'm just gonna put all the Miis right next to each other. None of them rank higher than another because it can be literally you. It's as stupid or as smart as you want it to be. It's just a Mii. Alright, remember that clause I said about Rosalina where I said where I asked how do we consider gods? Yeah, Palutena. I don't think Mewtwo can outsmart, like, a literal goddess. So I genuinely do not think that there's a reason to not even to put her anywhere other than, like, the very top. Like, it has to be. She literally is, like, telepathically talking to Pit, like, the entire game of Kid Icarus Uprising. So, like, it has to be. So she, like, has to be at a higher rating. Alright. Next up is Pac-Man. Pac-Man is also just a normal dude. I mean, sure, he's super happy and stuff like that, and he also has, like, a lot of knowledge and stuff. Like, again, I also love, like, the fact that we had a transition between, like, literal gods and just a regular dude who's just a circle. He's just a circle. I feel like there's not a lot going on behind Pac-Man's eyes. I think for that reason, I'm gonna put him below Kirby. Because, like, he doesn't have, like, all the same abilities and stuff. I mean, he does fight ghosts. He can make you have a seizure. If it's, like, his, like, chomping. Like, his wah 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 ability. You know, something like that. But I don't think he's going to be ranking it very much higher. Also, the cicadas are going off outside. So I'm sorry about that. Robin. Robin being a mage and also a Fire Emblem character, I think naturally makes them a lot smarter than a lot of the other characters. I think we're gonna put them in the Outsmart Me, no question. I think this is almost final boss material. Also, I think, do we put them above? I think they're better than. I think they'd be better than Olimar, but I don't think yeah, they're better than Olimar and Snake, but I don't think they're better than Samus and Wario. Wario's worse than Samus the more I think about it. Shulk. I have also not played a Xenoblade Chronicles game. Actually, I've played a little bit of 2, so I think I kind of understand Pyra and Mithra. But I haven't played any of 1, so I don't know how to rank Shulk. I guess Shulk... I don't really know. Oh. Is Shulk smart? I don't know. I'm just going to put Shulk in the middle tier. Shulk is going to go beyond around the same level. I'm sorry, I don't know. I've never played a Xenoblade game. I know they're all on Switch, but I just haven't been able to play them. I'm sorry. They're long games. Okay, so Bowser Jr. is a baby. Or he's a child. Shulk is a very smart mechanic. Okay, being a mechanic, I think smart. I think we gotta put him in the smarter list, like above a lot of other things. And like, Xenoblade is like a techno, like fantasy techno kind of thing, right? So I think because of that logic, the Xenoblade characters would be smarter than normal. So I think maybe I'd put him like below Fox. I think that's a good place to put him. But anyway, back to Bowser Jr. I'm not putting Bowser Jr. very high because Bowser Jr. is a child, and Bowser Jr. is also younger Bowser, who is not very smart as he is. I mean, he's a good. I mean, Bowser's a good dad, but I don't think he's very. I don't think Bowser Jr. is. Bowser Jr. is not going to rank that high. I think I'd curb stomp Bowser Jr. like I do in every Mario game. This guy's getting destroyed. The Duck Hunt dog is just a dog. But unlike Yoshi, he is actually just a dog. So we're putting him below all the Pokemon except for Pichu. Dogs can understand. Except this dog is probably stupider because he doesn't understand commands and laughs at you whenever you miss a shot. So he automatically goes near the bottom. Alright, Cloud. Cloud is a soldier, natural. So that automatically gives him like some matter of intelligence. He's also very tactical. He also can summon things out of his sword via materia. But materia is more of a, well, material, so it's not really magic. So I think, all things considered, Cloud is just kind of a normal dude. He's not like Shulk where he's like a very smart mechanic or anything. He's kind of just a soldier. So I think he's around the same intelligence as Chrom. Let's just say Shulk builds something important and incredible in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Wait, there's continuity in the Xenoblade Chronicles games? I thought that they were like Final Fantasy where they had no chronology. Huh. Learn something new every day. Okay, I also forgot Shulk is technically a deity too. But he's not a deity for the entire game, so he's not going to be ranked. I don't think he's going to be ranked as high as Rosalina and Palutena are. But yeah, Cloud is just kind of a dude. He's a strong dude, but he's just a dude. Corrin. If betrayals were something that I would, if betrayals counted, I think that they're all connected. I did not know that. Huh. Maybe I need to go into research the Xenoblade lore someday. Maybe it would make my brain explode more than any other game did. But yeah, anyway, Corrin I think is gonna go in... Corrin's weird because I mean, they can transform into a dragon. So they're half human, half dragon. So, they're probably very intelligent just because they're the Fire Emblem protagonist, but like, I don't really know anything else about them beyond that. I never played their game. I'm sorry. There's so many games I feel like I should play. I don't know where I would put Corrin. I think Corrin's gonna go in the smart but pulled something out tier. Yeah, they're gonna rank higher than Ike. Because of military and magical dragon powers and stuff like that. All right, Bayonetta. Okay, finally something I understand. And Bayonetta is. I think Bayonetta is a witch and actually casts spells, so that automatically makes her smart. But how smart? Well, she knows a lot of weapons very, very well, and compared to me, who's definitely way cooler at magic and way better at it, definitely, trust me. She does have the advantage of having a gun, and that automatically gives her an advantage. I think I'm gonna, and because of her knowledge of like the Celestial and stuff like that, she's gonna go above Luigi. The Inklings. Okay, this might be controversial, but the Inklings are just gonna go in around the same level tier. All things considered, the only thing about them that's special is their specialty with weapons, and that is it. The Inklings are basically just humans that can transform into squids. I don't think that any of them have like extreme intelligence or anything like that. They're just normal dudes. All right, Ridley. So you think Ridley would go around? Oh, here. Actually, no. Because Ridley's actually a lot smarter than you think. Ridley is very conscious and aware of his actions within like the story of Metroid. And he's actually like the leader of a criminal organization. So I think which you wouldn't expect when playing Smash Bros. Like you think that he's just kind of like a dragon guy, but no, he's actually a lot more deeper than that. I think that because that he's oddly smart. Like I imagine Ridley like being like General Grievous, honestly. Like he's like this incredibly weird looking character, but he's oddly smart in some way. Also, I imagine it's very weird for Ridley to like use control pads and stuff like that. Very. Oh yeah, this guy is very aware of his actions. Like he is probably one of the more evil Nintendo villains, all things considered. But because I'm gonna put him like above, like he's not like a Pokemon level. You think I would main someone dumb? Maybe. I thought all Ridley mains just like the funny tail skewer that he does. All right, the Belmonts. I'm sorry, the Belmonts are not very. The Belmonts are gonna go on the level of average people, because again, beyond their knowledge of weapons and their connection to the vampire killer, they are not very smart. Neither of them are particularly like the most intelligent thing ever. Literally, all we see them do is kill Dracula. I mean, their players are probably brain dead, but beyond that, I don't think that the Belmonts would fit in the category. I think that they're around the same level. King K. Rool's another DKC character. Yeah, I know Ridley killed Samus's family. That's a very important part of Metroid's story, or even I know that. But yeah, Ridley was absolutely aware of what he did. He's not a monster. He's like a monster, not like a monster. You get what I mean? Anyway, King K. Rool's another DKC character, but I think he's actually a lot smarter than we give him credit for. Like, when you think about it, like, he has been able to construct things like death machines to, like, try to take out the Kongs and stuff in the previous Donkey Kong Country games. And I think he was even a scientist in Donkey Kong Country 3. So I think by that logic, he's smarter than the DK crew by a lot. I think because he is a king, and because he's able to pull off so much unique stuff, I think K. Rool, is gonna go. He's not smarter than I think he's smarter than Ike, but I don't think he's smarter than Captain Falcon. No, actually, yes, he's smarter than Captain Falcon, but I don't think he's smarter than I don't think he's smarter than Luigi. All right, next up is Isabelle. Isabelle is a politician. Okay, well, she's not a politician; she's a bureaucrat. That automatically puts her in the higher tier possible. I don't think she's the most intelligent thing in the world, but also he's outsmarted by the DK crew. Yeah, that's a good point. I also need to forget Donkey Kong Country 3. In Donkey Kong Country 3, he's literally outsmarted by a baby. So I think maybe putting him lower. I think I'm gonna put him below Meta Knight, I think. Because, yeah, well, he does have a lot of credits. The fact that he's outsmarted by literal children, I think, probably does it. Probably nerfs him a bit. Isabelle is also a Fed. Don't worry, a human. Just because it's a Fed, it doesn't mean you need to freak out. Oh. She probably wouldn't report... Actually, she would probably report you. Whatever. Isabelle's smart. That's all that really matters right now. But I still think I stand a chance. She's probably the one that I stand the least amount of chance against, but still. And now for our last Pokemon, Incineroar is going to go right before Charizard, and right after Charizard and right before Ivysaur. He understands the law of wrestling in Utique, but that's just in his nature. It's like Greninja's nature to be a sneaky ninja. Like, that's how the Pokemon world works, basically. We're now finally at the last stretch, Ultimate's DLC characters. And there's been one tier that's been surprisingly empty so far. I wonder what character is going to end up in the incapable tier. I wonder who. I wonder what character I would have chosen to put in this tier. I don't think I need to explain myself on this one. I am destroying this plant. I am not just destroying this plant intellectually. I am kicking this plant down the stairs after I am done with its corpse in a Mortal Kombat style fatality. That is how much I'm defeating this guy. This guy is not going to win anything intellectual whatsoever. He's not going to win anything physical. He's a plant. I know. He's a joke character. He's intentionally supposed to be bad. So, yeah. He's the only incapable one. Alright, next up is the Jonkler. Jonkler's basically a high school student. I don't think that he's really gonna... I feel like he's around the same level. Just because he's... I know he has a connection to personas, but I think that... But that's supposed to be like a manifestation of your true self, which is more related to your psyche than your actual person, so... It will fly back up the stairs. I'll kick it back down again. What can it do? Fight me? It's a plant. Plants can't fight. Alright, Hero. Hero is another weird case. Because, again, he's another bumpkin. So that automatically would make him a little bit less intelligent on normal. But I think that at the same time, though, he knows a lot of magic, and is also connected to, like, a prophecy in Dragon Quest XI. I haven't been Dragon Quest XI yet. I hope to do that on stream someday, because Dragon Quest XI is a really good game. But I think, personally... I feel like it's gonna be... I feel like we're around the same level. This guy's a wizard. I'm a wizard. He's a wizard. We would get along. He's definitely smarter than average student. Yeah... I mean, if his intelligence is at 5, then I think that automatically puts him up a little bit better. I think that he's like a very naturally... Jonkler's just a naturally smart person. I think because of that Jonkler, we're gonna move him up a little bit. He's definitely the lowest of the would mop the floor with me intellectually. But he's still up there. Banjo and Kazooie. Well, first of all, there's 2 of them, so I guess that automatically... I guess makes them not stupid, but, I mean, these guys are not the most intelligent in their games, either. I mean, they're cartoony. They're Bear and Bird. They only know what they need to know. Kazooie's more sassy than anything else. I feel like I'm mostly smarter than them. I feel like they get dominated intellectually. Terry Bogard. If I was making this list a little bit later, I would have to rank him in the Street Fighter things, but thankfully, I did this early. I feel like he's... I don't know KOF's and Fatal Fury's lore. I feel like I'll know someday, because there's freaking 15 King of Fighters games. So, I feel like if I understand the King of Fire's lore, I feel like I would probably explode. But I think I'm gonna put him above Ryu. Because I don't know, I feel like he just understands things more in some way. So remember when I said there was a character that's smarter than Robin? I think that Byleth, absolutely goes in this tier. I think that they're above most other characters. Because not only are they a professor, not only are they a commander, they're basically a deity. So I feel like because of that factor alone, they're basically going to go in this tier, the same tier as the basically deity category. You see, in the outsmart no one knows, no question. There's just, I'm sorry, I sound like XQC again. But anyway, in the outsmart everyone no question tier, there's like people who know like a whole lot, and then there's just the people who are just like basically gods. All right, Min Min, another fighter, another classic fighter. I don't think though she's like the most intelligent thing ever. She's worked at a ramen shop her whole life. She probably knows a lot about cooking and chemistry. But cooking isn't as serious, I guess. I mean, it's still chemistry, so I think that would probably make her smart in some way. I say bottom of smart, but I could pull something out. Yeah, I'm confident with that. Speeve. Speeve is going to be a controversial one. But I think out of all of the characters who know something, I feel like Steve goes in that tier. I think he's above all of them. Because the thing is about Minecraft, the second that Steve picks something up, he is instantly able to know what to do with it. He's able to know what to do with it instantly. So I think that fact alone just makes him the most resourceful and intelligent person like ever. He knows architecture, he knows how to trade. This guy knows everything. Steve is fundamentally superhuman. We already know he can carry a ton, and this guy is also probably like massively intelligent too. It doesn't change the fact that he can fall in the lava a bunch just by you accidentally pressing the W key while your inventory is filled with diamonds. But it doesn't change that. But I still think that Steve is basically a superhuman, and I don't think there's anything about that can change that. You'd be surprised to know that Sephiroth actually probably ranks lower. I mean, Sephiroth is smart. I don't think Sephiroth's stupid. But like his whole thing is like trying to fix like the fact that he's like an artificial organism. And so he tries to become God. He can make complex machinery for raw material. Yeah, that's the thing about Steve. Steve is just so incredibly freaking smart that it's impossible. Like the only characters that like defeat him are characters that are either literally gods or have godlike intelligence. Like that's the only reason. That is the only reason that Steve is not like the most intelligent thing ever. Like this guy can has figured out how to travel to other worlds by himself. Like there's no way this guy doesn't like top this. In fact, you know what? He's smarter than Zelda. Hold on. He isn't smarter than Mewtwo, I don't think. He's not smarter than Rosalina, he's not smarter than Palutena, but he's definitely top 4. Anyway, back to Sephiroth. I don't think he's like the most intelligent. I mean, I guess he can cast magic on his own, and he does become like super powerful in his final boss form. And basically godlike, but that's only one temporary form. So I feel like because of that, I think he's, if this were a strength thing, I think he would rank a lot higher, but he isn't. And so because of that, I don't think he's rated that high. Alright, we're gonna rank Pyra, Mithra. Should we rank Pyra, Mithra separately, or as a character? I have played as, I have gotten to part in Xenoblade 2 where you unlock Pyra. I've gotten to the part where you play Mithra, and I don't know how they are with both. So I have no idea how to rank these guys. I think Pyra... Dude, I don't know. Help. Human, I need help. Xenoblade lore, help. Please, I need help. Oh. Mithra is generally less intelligent. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, so because of that... Okay, we're gonna use the same principle that I applied to Mega Man, where, since they're technically artificial beings, I'm gonna put them in, like, different tiers. Because of this, I'm gonna put Pyra in the would mop the floor with me intellectually tier. I think I'm gonna put her in the same around the same area as Mega Man, and also I should move Roy down a bit because I don't think Roy's as smart as freaking Ganon. We're gonna put Mithra though in the smart, but I could put something out tier. I'd say less smart than Ridley. Yeah, and I think together though, I don't think that they're that much smarter. I think maybe they go into... I think they go above Marth. But I don't think anything beyond that would apply. Alright, Kazuya Mishima. You know the term wouldn't go out with a bang, but a whimper? These two are definitely the whimpers. I'm not denying that these two are both powerful, but in terms of intelligence, they ain't it. Kazuya Mishima is a stupid person. He's very prideful. He's very arrogant. He has an evil power, or that he somehow was able to figure out to control. But that's literally because of his genes. That's not because of magic or anything like that. And the only thing he really understands is combat. So I have to put him below Ryu. Because of that. I'm putting him above Ryu, but below Little Mac for that reason. The only saving grace I think he has is I guess he can run a company. But, like, even then, he can't really... And he isn't that smart. Again, a thing about Tekken is heavily... The thing about Tekken is strength. So... Well, that sentence made no sense. A major theme in Tekken is strength. But the problem with that... But the main problem with Kazuya is just that he doesn't even show off any of his intelligence. Like, if we were talking about his son, Jin, I would absolutely wait, you think? But I think I'm definitely smarter than Kazuya Mishima. I will say they are incredibly intelligent because Aegis may or may not be a supercomputer. Okay, well, okay, that kind of changes things. Okay, well, well, congratulations. You are going above... You're going right above Steve. In fact, I've changed my mind. Mewtwo is now below Rosalie and Luma. The only reason why Mewtwo defeats them is because Mewtwo is literally the smartest Pokemon in existence, and probably challenges Alakazam. And Alakazam is has like an IQ of like 2,000 or something. So I think Mewtwo is smarter, but absolutely smarter than Aegis, no question. And finally, Sora. I don't know a lot about the Kingdom Hearts lore. I don't think this guy's very smart. I'm just gonna say he's around the same level. He definitely knows a lot of stuff, but but he's kind of just a kid. I say he's around the same tier as Kirby, where like he understands things, but I don't think he cares. Alright. That is the full Smash Bros. Tier list. I was planning on making this into a video, but I don't know if it's long enough. I think I may have to make this multiple parts. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that took so long. How long have we been going for? We've been going for 2 hours. That's crazy. Whatever, we got 3 more to go through, so we're still good, and we're gonna do all of them. Alright, so this is the tier list where I'm gonna get completely and utterly clapped. This is the Marvel 3 tier list. The only ones I'm not ranking are, again, Ryu, Chun-Li, and Akuma, because I already ranked them. So I don't think that there's gonna be a lot of changes between these tier lists. Alright, so Jill Valentine, in the form she takes in Marvel 3. Yeah, poor Gray. I don't think Gray doesn't... I don't think Gray edits that's them. I mean, maybe I could ask him, but I don't know. But yeah, Jill... In the form Jill takes in Marvel 3, she's being controlled by Umbrella Corp. So, I feel like, honest. Oh yeah, right. I need to move you down a peg. I feel like she does have a lot of things. She kind of has like that Cammy energy. I don't know, man. I feel like smart, but I could pull out something probably. Phoenix right on top. We'll get there. Unfortunately, though, there is a tier called Galaxy Brian, and spoiler alert: Phoenix Wright is not going on there. I'm just letting you know that. All right, Cap. I would intellectually dominate Cap, no questions asked. I don't think Cap is very smart. He can throw a shield. He's a good soldier. He's not. I don't think that he stands much of a chance. This is Firebrand. He's from the game. He's an enemy from the game Ghosts and Goblins, and he is a demon. Unfortunately, he is a non-functioning, non-talking, non-anything demon. He's useless. He's basically an animal, which is odd considering that there are literal animals in this game that are more intelligent than this thing. Yeah. Mayor Mike Hagar. If this were a fight, he would probably be the biggest ass kicking I'd get. But in terms of intelligence, he's fine. I mean, he is a politician, so that does, and he does have a pretty good solution to things. If you don't know the story of Final Fight, gangs try and take over, and Mike Hagar wins the election by figuring out that the best way to get rid of the gangs is to beat the gangs to death. So, but in terms of intelligence, he's probably just around the same level as me. He's probably just a normal dude. He's a politician. She-Hulk. I want you guys to avoid the trauma that you guys got from the show if you watched it. Just to forget the fact that this woman is in fact a lawyer, and by that logic, we have to rank her high because she is smart. They outsmart everyone, no question. I'm sorry. Next up is Thor. Now, Thor I don't think is automatically smart just because he's a god. I guess he isn't fairly intelligent, but like, I don't imagine that Thor is like the most intelligent thing ever. I feel like he kind of has that like that Mike Hagar energy, where he's strong, but he's not the most smart thing ever. Spencer. The only thing I know about this guy is that he's from Bionic Commando. I'm just gonna imagine this guy is a very good mechanic, and that's how he was able to create said arm, and he's not just a soldier. So I'm just gonna say smart, but he pulled something out. Yeah. But he's not as smart as Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright will be ranking higher than her. That's the spoiler. Phoenix. Jean Grey. I don't really know how I'd rate her. She's kind of in a weird position, I think. I feel like... I'm only recently getting into the X-Men lore, so I don't really know how, like... where I would put her. I feel like she would probably... I am mostly smarter, kind of like in the case of Ryu. In the biggest roast of Firebrand ever, I genuinely like to believe that... I know that this is probably not accurate, but I like to think that because Morgan is a succubus, she's from Darkstalkers, by the way, if you're wondering where she is from. I genuinely like to think that Morgan is extremely smart, but just decides to hide it because she's a succubus and needs to feed on people's lust to survive. So because of that, I'm gonna put her in, like, would mop the floor with me intellectually. And that's just based on my headcanon and nothing else. Sentinel is in the I feel like is just a stupider Jill Valentine. He is a machine that is programmed to destroy. He's programmed by Magneto in order to do that, and he does that fairly well. You cannot really sympathize with him or rationalize him. I'm just gonna put this guy in. I would dominate him. She seems to have a serious understanding of things. Yeah, I think that yeah. Also, I think Sentinel is the stupidest in this tier. I don't think he's genuinely unintelligent, because he is a robot. Chris Redfield. he is a military leader. He has commanded multiple operations and stuff. He's rated in stuff fairly well. I think he's probably one of the smarter military characters. I think we're gonna put. I think he's not as smart as Morgan, but I think he's pretty smart still. Iron Fist. Iron Fist, I think, shares a similar tier to Ryu. He probably understands fighting really well, but that's really about it. I don't really understand. I don't know. I don't understand the lore of Iron Fist. Hyson Ko. If this is a character from the game Vampire Survivors, I do not know the story of Vampire Survivors at all. I don't know where to put her, so we're just gonna put her in that. Just say that I would dominate her. And no, not like that. Not like that. No, not like that. Not like that. Not like that. No, not like that. We're gonna move on, okay? We're gonna move on. Hey, look, guys, it's Deadpool. It's the funny mutant guy. He's voiced by Ryan Reynolds. You know, look at him. Look at that guy. So it's like kind of the same case with King Dedede and Jury. Deadpool, I think, absolutely is aware of the situation that's going on. But the difference is between Deadpool and Jury is that Deadpool actually has fun killing people. So I think because of that reason alone, he's only... Wait, how is there a character from Vampire Survivors in the game? I don't know. So I don't really know where I would put Deadpool. I mean, so the thing about the Marvel 3 Deadpool specifically is that he seems to be aware that he is in a video game. This specifically only applies to him. Him and only him. So I feel like because of that factor alone, I kind of have to rank him a little bit higher than everyone else. Just because he's aware of everything else. I feel like he would smart by pulsing us, but he's definitely the bottom of that tier, I think. So, you want to know the Galaxy Brain? You know who's going to be in the Galaxy Brian tier? Are you actually surprised that Doctor Strange is the one that got this? Like, are you actually surprised at all? I don't know a lot about Doctor Strange, but what from I know, this guy is probably the smartest guy that we've seen so far. This guy was a doctor, and then literally became a magician, learned it quickly, and then became super skilled with that too. Like, is there a reason to not put him in the Galaxy Brian tier? He's got to get in that tier. He's gotta. All right, next up is Beautiful Joe. He's from the game Beautiful Joe. He's not that. I don't think he's that smart from my knowledge. On Beautiful Joe, I'm gonna put him in the genuinely unintelligent tier. I think it's kind of like a parody on Kamen Rider or something. I don't know. Charles would be smart if he's in the game, but yeah. Now, Charles is not in the game, unfortunately. Magneto is, but I don't think Magneto is as smart as Xavier is. Don't worry, though. He is still going to be ranked very high. Next up is Dormammu. And I have no idea how to rank Dormammu. Dormammu is just... Dude, I genuinely don't know how to rank this guy. I guess Dormammu does kind of have the similar thing to, like... He does kind of have, like, that deity ability. But the thing is, this isn't, like, Kid Icarus or Mario, where, like... This is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Being a deity doesn't mean anything. So, like, would it matter if Dormammu was, like, this super powerful guy? I don't know his lore at all. That would be hilarious if it was just a wheelchair-bound Charles Xavier was in a fighting game. That would be hilarious. That'd be a great joke character. Yeah, but unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna be the case. I don't freaking know where to put Dormammu. I literally know nothing about this guy except for the fact that he's really good in Marvel 3. That's the only thing I know about him. He's the first character where I genuinely do not know a single thing about him, so I'm just gonna freaking put him in a random tier. Here you go. Okay, Super Scroll. The scrolls are really smart, because they're very similar to Kirby and Mega Man in the fact that they can copy other abilities very effectively. So I think that factor alone gives them like a lot of intelligence that a lot of other characters just would not have. I'm pretty sure in the game they copied like a lot. This guy copies a lot of the Fantastic Four's moveset. So I think this guy would mop the floor with me intellectually. Like, this guy, like, understands, like, how the Fantastic Four think. Like, he'd kick my butt intellectually, no question. Alright, X-23. This is another character I know nothing about. Except that she's the daughter of Wolverine, so I guess I know a little bit more about her. Wolverine isn't the smartest person. I mean, they're strong, but I don't think that they're, like, crazy smart or anything like that. I think I'm just gonna put her in this tier. Then we have Storm. Storm, I feel, is probably one of the smarter X-Men. I think that I would probably rank Storm decently high. I don't think she's like super smart or anything, but like I think she kind of has like that, you know, that Spencer energy, you know? Next up is Virgil. Beyond being motivational and being literally the best character in this entire game, I don't think that there's... I don't know how smart Virgil is in the DMC games. He is incredibly skilled at combat. So I think that's going to be the... Wait, is Reed Richards in the game? Is he smarter than... So smarter than Doctor Strange? No, he's not in the game. To my knowledge, none of the Fantastic Four are in the Marvel vs. Capcom games, unfortunately. The series was started to mostly focus on the X-Men, so unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. He's not on the list. I'm sorry. He's motivated, but generally above average intelligence. Yeah, he's smart. He and Dante are both smart, but I don't think that he's like. But I doubt he's gonna. He takes things seriously, so I think because of that, he's gonna be in the same tier as like Chun-Li. I think he's smarter than Chun-Li, but like he's not like average. Spider-Man. Spider-Man. I mean, is there really much of a contest? Like, this guy is smart. This guy knows a lot about. This guy, Peter Parker, is a scientist. He knows a lot about it. He created his own webs. He created his own dang suit. Yeah, this guy would absolutely kick my butt intellectually. I'm saying that I think that he's honestly smarter than. I'm gonna say he's smarter than Virgil is. But do we put him in this tier? Do we put him in this tier? Yeah. Peter Parker is a freaking genius. We also have the factor that he fights his rogues gallery relatively consistently, so he probably understands their weaknesses very well. So he has like that Samus advantage. Yeah, I think that he's absolutely goes in that tier. Wolverine. Wolverine is very strong, but I don't think he's very intelligent. I'm gonna put him below his X-23 because of that reason. Alright. Next up is Taskmaster. I love Taskmaster, by the way. He's one of my favorite Marvel villains. I'm upset that freaking Black Widow did him dirty. I think by far he probably is the best and probably most intelligent of the copy characters we've seen so far, because Taskmaster literally copies their abilities, exactly. Lore in the comics, he's basically just Kirby. He's that skilled, knowledgeable. So I think because of how big of an IQ he has, I think he's probably the smartest we've seen so far. He's not Doctor Strange smart, but I think he's pretty smart. I don't know what series Trish belongs to. I don't really know. I don't exactly know what she belongs to. I think she's a Marvel character. Yeah. Put her there. Very smart. The fact that he copied enemies so really instantly. Absolutely. He's absolutely going in that outsmart everyone, but no questions. And he isn't Galaxy Brian tier yet, but I think that he absolutely is the top of this tier. Absolutely. Now for Hawkeye, Hawkeye kind of creates his own arrows, and he's able to understand things, and he's able to shoot him well, and he probably has impeccable aim, but like, beyond that, he's probably just an average dude. He's probably the smartest of the average dudes we've seen so far, but I think that he's probably the closest to like the entire, to the, maybe I'll put him in smart. I think he's above Deadpool. I think he's, yeah, no, I think he's dumber than Chun-Li, but smarter than Jill. Frank West is literally a normal dude. I know I've been saying that word a lot, like a normal dude, but no, Frank West from Dead Rising, he is just a normal dude. There is nothing special or special about this guy at all. He is a reporter who picks up a gun, who is in a mall trying to stop zombies. That is what Dead Rising is about. I don't think he's that smart. He's kind of just a guy. He's going in the middle. Strider. So Strider has kind of like that ninja complex thing. He's stealthy. He has tons of knowledge of tools. He can command robots very well. He's from the future. Sure, he has a lot of like the traditional like ninja stuff, but I don't think he's like the tippity top, like intelligent. He is an assassin, so that kind of changes things a little bit, but I don't think he's like above average in the intelligence department. I'm gonna say, could I outsmart a ninja? Yeah, I'm gonna say I'd outsmart a ninja. I absolutely could outsmart a ninja, sure. Next up is Nova. Nova is very powerful, but I don't think he's particularly smart. Because I mean, he does have the Nova suit. He does have his own thing. I don't know where to put him. I feel like I would probably be smarter than Nova. Yeah, we're gonna put him up. We're gonna put him right above the top of I'm mostly smarter. I don't think we need to debate that MODOK goes in the outsmart everyone, no question. The question is he smarter than Taskmaster or not? I don't think he's smarter than Doctor Strange, but I could debate him being better than Taskmaster, honestly. MODOK, I imagine, is incredibly smart. In the meantime, though, we're going to rank our next character. Okay, so this is Amaterasu. She is the main character in the game called Okami. She is based off of the Japanese goddess of the sun. So, by that factor alone, you think that she would be an automatic, like, top up of the tier, right? Well, the thing is, she kind of just acts like a dog the entire game. And I don't know if it's because she's funny, she thinks it's funny, or she just doesn't care. But I think because of that reason alone, I think we're going to put her in, I would actually dominate them intellectually. Yeah, I think she's above Akuma, at least. Because I don't really, I know, I suspect a lot of things. Also, you say MODOK is smarter than Taskmaster? Yeah, probably. You're probably right. I'm not denying MODOK is smart. Next up is Albert Wesker. He is the main villain from the original 6 Resident Evil games. He's the CEO of Umbrella Corp. He basically created the T-Virus. This guy's pretty dang smart. He absolutely is going in the outsmart for everyone, no question. He's also the main antagonist of this game. Him and Doctor Doom teamed up to try to take over the multiverse, so absolutely. Absolutely this case. Adorable Perrito, yes, absolutely. We will give head pats to Amy at all costs. But of course, that being said though, I'm probably smarter than her. Dante is like Deadpool, except he doesn't have that fourth wall breaking knowledge. So I'm pretty sure I'm smarter than him. He doesn't go in genuinely unintelligent because he is a man. But, yeah. Alright, so this person, you probably don't know who he is, but you might know, but you're probably gonna know. If your only knowledge on this guy is the MCU, Shimogorov is not that smart of a character. He's just an octopus man. Actually, no, he goes up here. This guy is easily, like... This guy is, like, a destroyer of multiverses for some reason. And what's also really funny is that he's been in basically every Marvel vs. Capcom game. Dante is definitely not as smart as his brother. Absolutely. Dante is an idiot. Yeah, Shumagorov is incredibly intelligent, actually. He's like a world eater. He's like that thing from Adventure Time that possessed Gunther, whatever his name was. I can't remember, unfortunately. It's like that umbrella thing. That's what Shumagorov is, basically. Alright, you know him. You love him. It's Phoenix Wright. Phoenix Wright is easily smarter than She-Hulk and Wesker, I think. But that's really where it ends. I feel like he is absurdly smart, but unfortunately he has to compete with freaking Taskmaster, MODOK, and fucking Shumagorov. Freaking Ice Squid that somehow can destroy multiverses. So unfortunately, Phoenix Wright does not get to join the Galaxy Brain tier. But unfortunately, he has to sit it right here in the solid 5th place. A 5th place that he is about to lose, by the way. Because next up is Magneto. Yeah. If Charles Xavier is smart, Magneto isn't as smart, but he's still freaking powerful. But he's still freaking up there. He's nowhere near as smart as MODOK, Taskmaster, or Shumagorov, but he's definitely one of the smartest. He's another main antagonist. I don't remember if it was him or Doctor Doom that Wesker was working with. I don't remember. It's the freaking opening comic. I don't remember everything about Marvel 3. Next up is the Hulk. And I think we all know that Bruce Banner is smart, so we're just gonna put him up here. I don't think there's really much of a reason not to. Actually, you know what? We're gonna put him above Wesker because he actually created something that worked and didn't lead to an apocalypse. So, so Hulk only gets higher than Wesker based on the fact that Hulk isn't a complete jerk. All right. You notice that incapable tier is a little empty, huh? Well, don't worry. We're filling it right now. So Nemesis is actually capable of things. The problem is, though, Nemesis is so unintelligent that it is negative. He has negative emotions, like negative intelligence. Anyone that's the main thing is constantly going against. It's one of the smarter people ever is very smart. I guess that's true. But yeah. Anyway, freaking Nemesis is the dumbest thing. It's probably the dumbest thing that we've looked at, and it will be the dumbest thing we've ever looked at. There's not much lower we can get than this. Yes, I actually think that he is less intelligent than freaking Piranha Plant, because the only thing that Nemesis does is to track STARS members down, and that's all he does. Like, Piranha Plants at least have, like, the ability to, like, eat things and stuff like that. But this guy is literally worse than that. I guess his lack of a brain was made up by the fact that he has, like, impenetrable defense or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. He's going in the incapable tier. I'm kicking this guy's butt. No, he's a Sade. I could probably not study for a test at all and get a higher grade than Nemesis gets. He probably would just be sitting there in the classroom, just being like STARS the whole time, all the time, and I'm throwing things at him to try to get him to shut up while I'm trying to take my test. Piranha Plant would probably get a higher grade than him. Absolutely incapable of doing things. Nemesis is is literally the dunce of this entire stream. The biggest dunce of all. Alright, next up is Zero. Zero is a hunter. He's fairly skilled at things. He has the typical Mega Man thing where he's able to copy tons of abilities and stuff. So I feel like because of that, it gives him a lot more of an advantage against me. He's also very skilled with all kinds of weapons and stuff. So I think because of that, he's gonna go below Virgil, but I don't think he's like smarter than Virgil. All right, Galactus. Despite being like a galaxy brain thing, he's more like I don't think Galactus he's even in the same tier as Galaxy Brain Smart. But I think he's stupider than Shumagorov is. And no, he's stupider than MODOK is, honestly. Like, if we're being completely honest, Galactus is kind of like this big overall threat. And he is very powerful, no, don't get me wrong. But Galactus is not the smartest character in this game, no doubt about it. I don't think he's that smart. Next up is the Ghost Rider. I don't know where to put Ghost Rider, honestly. Ghost Rider... He's just a galaxy... He may have a galaxy brain, but he's not galaxy brained. Absolutely. Like, Doctor Strange can literally see into timelines. This guy can't even do that. This guy, he's not that smart on art. Anyway, Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider, I don't really know where he would belong. I don't really know how... I feel like he's kind of like an evil Santa Claus, if you really think about it. Like, you know, like, he sees you when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake, he knows if you've been bad or good. But, like... Even though he is an evil Santa Claus, he doesn't really he doesn't really understand anything else, and like he probably just doesn't care in a lot of cases. I feel like, honestly, the only thing special about Ghost Rider is the fact that he maybe like the creepy Santa Claus complex. So I'm just gonna put him above Deadpool and just not think about it. Alright, Iron Man, Tony Stark. I don't think we really need to debate that this guy is very smart. Well, mostly just when you've been bad. Yeah, I guess that's a good point. Iron Man, yeah, smart. Tony Stark, absolutely one of the smartest characters. We're gonna put him... He's right below Magneto. He's smarter than Magneto. Yep. Oh. He's basically... Man literally, he was a billionaire, built an entire suit by himself. He's absolutely goes in these, they outsmart everyone, no questions. The only characters that are smarter than him is are literally the guys of like galaxy level intellect and a guy who can copy everyone's moves just by looking at them. He's not top 5, but he's definitely top 10. Felicia is basically the equivalent of Blanca in Darkstalkers. She's a Catwoman. That automatically, I think, makes her smarter than Firebrand. He's on the level where he can beat gods of his intellect. Yes, that is actually true. But something that however, there is something that we need to keep in mind here. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out was very early in the MCU's lifespan. So we didn't really have like a lot of the movies to explain every little bit of lore. So we don't really understand a lot of stuff. Plus, a lot of these characters are from X-Men and other sources. Again, this was a lot of like pre-MCU stuff. So we haven't gotten to that level yet. But Tony Stark is a freaking intelligent man, and he's absolutely going in the top. He's absolutely at the top, no doubt about that. All right. So believe it or not, there's actually one Street Fighter character that I left behind. This is Crimson Viper. She is technically the youngest character in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. We had the comics. True. Anyway, she's the youngest character in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 because she was released in Street Fighter 4. She was in my opinion, the weirdest inclusion by far, because they included her for some random reason. I don't know why. She was important to Street Fighter 4's story, but she's not like iconic enough to be like included or anything like that. Tony Stark in the MCU does not hold a candle to the comics, Tony. Okay, okay. If that's the case, then I'm gonna put freaking Tony Stark in top 5. Tony Stark is going to top 5 for sure. Sorry, Taskmaster, you're getting nerfed. See ya. Alright. Anyway, back to Viper. Viper's a Fed. Viper is... Viper, she's pretty smart, I get. Or, I don't think she's... But, like, if we're talking Marvel versus Capcom, I feel like she's just kind of, like, a normal woman. I feel like I put her in, like, the above-average intellect section. Because she is a Fed. I think she's smarter than... I'm pretty sure she's smarter than Zero. She's not smarter than Virgil, but I think that she's probably one of the... She would be one of the smartest Street Fighter characters. Alright, Trombone is literally an engineer. She creates all of her own robots. So she's definitely on the smarter end of the scale. So I think she would mop the floor with me intellectually. But I don't think much beyond that. I think she's smarter than Spidey, but I don't think not much smarter beyond that. Then we have Arthur, who... Look, I know Arthur knows, like, a lot of weapons and stuff, but he's kind of just a knight. So I feel like he's smarter than Cap. No, he's dumber than Cap, absolutely. He's smarter than Sentinel, but I don't think he's much smarter than that. Arthur's just kind of a dude. I think he's lesser than smart because bro made armor out of literally foil. That literally when he's touched by a ghost, he literally goes into his undies and then dies. So yeah, I think that Arthur's I would kick Arthur's butt intellectually. Rocket is another engineer. I think that he absolutely is on the smarter end of the scale. I don't know if he's smarter than Tron. I think he's smarter than Tron. Rocket makes his own weapons. He's been genetically modified in a lot of ways. He's probably one of the smarter characters, I think. He's not like dumb as a sack of bricks like Nemesis is. So I think that he would absolutely be rated higher tier. And lastly is Doctor Doom. If you did not expect Doctor Doom to be in the higher end of the tier, that's your problem. I think he is extremely smart. He's able to lead a country really well. He literally has Doctor in his name. I think that he's not as smart as Magneto, but he's still pretty smart. I think he absolutely is there. And that is Marvel 3. Alright, we only have 2 more games left. Galaxy Brain? Absolutely. He's absolutely top 10. Oh wait, maybe did I rank him too low? Maybe I should put him above Magneto. Okay, I'm gonna put him above Magneto, but below Taskmaster. One thing I find incredibly funny... Oh, he's on the level of Reed Richards? Okay, that changes things. I did not think Doctor Doom was that smart. Okay. We're putting him in Galaxy Brain. Yeah, we're gonna put him in Galaxy Brain. In fact, yeah, he's smarter than Strange. Okay, no doubt about that. Yeah, he's going above Strange for sure. If you say Reed Richards is like one of the smartest characters in fiction, like, and he's on level with him, he's absolutely being Strange, no question. Anyway, this is the Marvel 3 tier list. As you can see, I get my butt absolutely kicked by most of the roster, and it's basically why there's an absolute beatdown for me. I am completely losing this fight intellectually. Actually, I guarantee like a few of these characters would probably like beat me and just be cackling while it would happen. Like I imagine Deadpool would totally do that. Tron would do that for sure. Spidey would just probably use quips about mock me with quips and stuff. Morgan would bully the heck out of me. I mean, Wesker would probably have like a video essay about how much I suck. Magneto definitely would do that. There's a reason why those two are nemesises. I guess, yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I do not stand a chance against most of the Marvel characters. Alright, next up, second to last is Tekken. So I'm gonna have to look up some of these characters because I don't remember everyone's names. I wanted to pick one of the characters that actually, one fighting game that I didn't understand all the way. But yeah, I still wanted to, So, I do apologize if I do get some things wrong here. This one's probably going to be the one I'm going to understand the least. I do know Tekken's story, but I don't know much beyond that. Yeah. So I'm going to pull up Tekken 8 characters. And I'm going to be looking at these while I do this part of the list. Alright, first off we have Claudio. Okay, so Claudio is literally... Okay, so we were starting off not great. Claudio is apparently a wizard. So we are off to a bad start, unfortunately. Yeah, Claudio is literally a wizard. Yeah, that's not great. Okay. Apparently he's aware of the devil gene. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this guy's definitely... Yeah, this guy... Okay, yeah, this guy's kicking my butt. No question. Yeah, no questions asked. Yeah, this guy's destroying me. Next up we have is Zafina. Zafina is a fortune teller. Now, I would say... However, now... I would say that she would actually be smart. Because there's actually magic. However, we all know that fortune telling is not real, so I'm gonna put her in the genuinely unintelligent tier. And she'll remain the stupidest character in Tekken by far. Absolutely. Next up is Paul Phoenix. Paul Phoenix is the most stereotypical American possible. Remember when I said that be the American the Japanese want you to be? That applies to Guile and Paul Phoenix especially. Paul Phoenix is probably the most stereotypical American you could probably look at in probably any game. So I'm going to put him in the I would intellectually dominate him tier. Like, it's not even close, I don't think. Then we have Raven. I think this is Raven. Is this Raven? Yeah, this is Raven. So guess what? It's another Fed. You know, guess what that means? I would say though that this guy was... Now, normally I would say that this guy was very smart, but he's actually the dumbest Fed by far. Because in the Tekken 5 intro, he says that Heihachi Mishima was dead, but Heihachi Mishima will not die for another 2 games. Because of this reason, we are putting him around the same level as a normal person. He cannot be that smart. If bro cannot tell that somebody is not dead. Alright, next up is Victor. I have no idea how the frick to rank Victor. Victor... Okay. So he's a... Okay, so he's French. But he's also a politician. And... he seems to also have tons of military experience. I think this was a new character introduced in Tekken 8, so because of this, I'm gonna put him would mop the floor with me intellectually. I think he would absolutely destroy me intellectually. Reina Mishima. This may be a spoiler, may not be. This is basically Heihachi Mishima's daughter, because Harada wanted to kill Heihachi, but the fans wanted Heihachi back, so they just copy and pasted her moveset into a waifu, and it worked. Even though when Kazuya was killed, and they copied and pasted their moveset into Jin, and that was deemed controversial. Anyway, she's around, I guess she's around normal level. I guess. I don't imagine her being very smart. Or, she's a Mishima, but like, the Mishimas are not smart, so I don't think they're gonna reach that part. Azukana. apparently Azukana has connections with, like, aliens and stuff. So I feel like because of that factor alone, I feel like putting her in, like, a possibly higher tier. Yeah, we're putting her here. I'm gonna put her in smart, but I would pull out something. I'm probably not gonna put the Tekken part in the video, all things considered. It's gonna be stream exclusive stuff, but I'm doing this for fun for the most part. At this point. Next up we have... Who is this guy? What is his name? Who are you, and what's your name? Shaheen. Oh my gosh, how many people in this world work for a military firm? These were fighters. Yeah, Shaheen. Yeah, Shaheen seems to be... He's pretty smart. I think he's more brutal than smart by the looks of things. I don't think... I feel like he understands combat fairly well, but, like, not... Oh, but... Probably a lot? Yeah, you're probably right. I'm gonna put Shaheen smart, but I could pull out something. I feel like he seems like someone who knows a lot about I don't know. You know, I'm just gonna say he's around the same level. Most of Tekken, beyond being really wacky, the people are just normal people, without much smarter or dumber about them. So I don't think there's not gonna be like a lot of divergence in this list, in this part of the list. Martial law. I'm probably going to sound very mean when I say this. This guy was not smart with his money, canonically. And so he's fighting in a tournament to keep his restaurant open. So, unfortunately, we are going to have to keep martial law very low on the list, unfortunately. He's smarter than Paul... I had to put Paul Phoenix below. Paul Phoenix is just so stupid. Next up was Leroy Jenkins. Leroy seems to be another case of another, like, Mike Hagar-esque person where he got rid of gangs and stuff like that. But it doesn't say how he got rid of the gangs, so I'm assuming it was peacefully. I feel like he probably is one of the smarter characters. He's old. I feel like he probably would be fairly smart. He's gotta be. Maybe. Leo. Yeah, this is a new guy for sure. Yeah, that's absolutely a new guy. I don't think Leo seems to be very intelligent. There's nothing about his lore that specifically says that he's intelligent, so I'm just gonna assume normal dude. That's what I'm gonna assume for a lot of these characters. I don't know a lot about Tekken's lore. I know Tekken's story; it's freaking insane. But it's not like Street Fighter where I know like every intricacy about these characters and I understand them deeply. So there's a difference here. Panda's not very smart. You could be saying that the reason for that is because, you know, it's a panda and pandas aren't very smart. The actual reason is because she has rejected Kuma, and I'm pretty sure every single game at this point. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Asuka is just a normal girl who knows how to do combat. So I feel like she's just a regular student, so I feel like it's around the same level. I think maybe she's smarter than Reina, probably. I know a lot of people are throwing fathers off of cliffs a lot. That's not... Oh, come on, it's not just that. It's a father throws his son off the cliff. then a son throws a father off a cliff. Then a grandson pushes flies away and pushes his father off a cliff. And then he grabs everyone on a rocket and then transforms. Then sends them to space. Then another grandson throws his dad off a cliff. Then a father throws his son off a cliff. Then the grandfather takes over the company. Then he fights Akuma from Street Fighter. Then his son throws him off the cliff again. And then the grandson fights his dad. Then he gets thrown off the cliff. That's basically the lore of Tekken. Lee's a billionaire, so we're gonna put it a self-made billionaire. So we're gonna put it. They outsmart me, no question. Jiayu. I don't think I pronounced that name correctly. I think she's just I don't know if she's particularly intelligent or not. I know she canonically went to school. Canonically, this is the first character I've actually been able to say that with. I know she canonically has an education. out of the four lists that we have done so far, but I don't think she's super smart or anything, so I'm gonna assume average intelligence again. Jin Kazama. I feel like Jin knows a lot. Jin, I think, knows... I mean, Jin's been a leader on multiple occasions. He's been chased in a lot of cases. He's learned karate from his grandfather. The lore is basically that they're fighting to find every cliff. Yes. I guess that's the real... I guess that's the real story. The story of Tekken is that basically Heihachi Mishima hated his son, and so he found a cliff and then threw him off a cliff. However, Kazuya realized that was a very cool-looking cliff, so he decided that he was going to throw his dad off a cliff to repay the favor. And of course, which is why at the end of Tekken 1, Kazuya Kazuya is smiling because he finally gets to show his dad at a cliff, and not because he's evil or anything. Then Heihachi decides that he wants to throw his son off a cliff to return the favor, and so he beats Paul Phoenix to death, and then decides to throw his son off a volcano this time. And so he takes a silly nap in the volcano. However, it turns out that Kazuya fell in love with a nature activist, and then said nature activist was killed by an Aztec god. So unfortunate. So Jin fell in love with cliffs again, and he then learned karate and loved cliffs. And then after they killed the Aztec god, he threw his grandfather off a cliff, and then his dad woke up from his nap, and then he sought to throw his dad off a cliff, but it didn't end up happening and then the whole place exploded, and then Heihachi Mishima died, but then he didn't die. So then Jin threw Heihachi's dad off of a cliff, and then Kazuya threw his son off a cliff, and then Heihachi turned out to not be dead, and then Heihachi challenged Kazuya one more time after getting jump scared by Akuma. Actually, Akuma from Street Fighter. I'm not kidding. And then he threw his dad off a cliff to finally, when he died away, and then he finally disappeared, and then he threw his son off a cliff. That's the story of Tekken. Cliffs. That's a Cliff's Notes version of the Tekken. Anyway, I think Jin's smart. Nina is an assassin, so I'm pretty sure she would understand a lot of knowledge and stuff and would understand her way around. I think she's not as smart as Leroy, but I think she's still pretty smart. Hwoarang, I think, is fairly smart. I think he's up there. Truly a wonderful story about cliffs. Yes, thank you. That's a Cliff Notes version of Tekken. Who's this guy again? I forget his name. It's Feng. Feng Wei. Hey. Did they just add this guy? Or I don't even know who this guy is. I'm just gonna assume that he's normally intelligent. Yeah. Yoshimitsu. Despite being a literal cyborg, I don't think he's one of the smarter characters. He's more like Robin Hood within the Tekken universe. So I think that he's smart, but I feel like I could pull out something against him if it were a test of knowledge. I don't know if this is gonna get submitted or not. So what we're going to do is we're gonna do this. And this is just gonna be a little surprise for the stream people. Shh. Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone that we did this. Anyway, Lily. Lily was raised rich, so that probably means that she wasn't as smart. Naturally, I think I'm gonna put her in the lower end, all things considered. She did learn to fight, though, so is fairly smart, I guess. I think this is... who is this again? I really need to play Tekken, so I can finally understand these characters. Alyssa, that's her name? Alyssa is a robot. She's an AI, so... yeah, she could probably mop the floor with me. Lars, similar case. He's not AI, but he's a Mishima. So we're gonna put him in smart. But if I could pull something, actually no, he'd probably go a lot higher than that. Jun Kazama. I think Jun probably goes in the higher end because she's a nature activist. I don't know. Shh. Hey. We don't tell people about the Kuma thing. It's just for the people on watching the stream, okay? Devil Jin. It's basically Jin, but more animalistic. So I feel like he's just stupider than Jin. Mostly because he's eviler. I don't know. Jax. I feel like I would intellectually dominate Jax. Same thing with King. King just communicates with a bunch of jaguar roars. So he's not that smart. If I was in power, I would have put King on top. But actually, what am I saying? I prefer Kuma over King every day. Steve Fox is actually a smarter boxer, but I don't think he's very intelligent. So he's just gonna go in humans. Same thing here. I think Dragunov is fairly smart. I don't think he's like unintelligent or anything. But I think he's probably the stupidest in this tier. Yeah, the more I'm looking at this, is like the more I'm seeing like, dear gosh, what have I done? Then there's Brian Fury. He's very cocky, despite having a bunch of robot attachments. He's gonna go here. Eddie goes here. Okay, and lastly, it's this girl. I looked up her name multiple times before the stream, and I still forgot her name. I think that's a sign of something. Alright, I want to apologize to every single Tekken fan that may be watching this stream. I want to ask you for your forgiveness because of this thing. We are finally moving on to Guilty Gear. We are getting some characters I finally freaking know. Woo! Okay, I'm excited for this part. Alright, where would I put Soul? You know what? Soul's going in red. He would absolutely outsmart me. Soul Bad Guy used to be a scientist. The only thing that changed about him was the fact that he got a gear added to him in Strive. Well, not in Strive, but like in the original Guilty Gear game. He's absolutely on top, no questions asked. This guy is still probably as smart as he is. He hasn't probably used it in a long time, but I mean, he's still probably freaking smart. That's all I'm gonna say. Next is Kai. I don't think Kai is like the most smart person on the planet. I mean, he's done some pretty stupid things, like abandoning his son. But like, I don't know. I feel like he's like the perfect level of like average intelligence, all things considered. Kai is probably like the perfectly like average character, all things considered. Like, I don't think he's bad. Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that he's just normal intelligence. Like, he's more strong than smart, so I'm gonna say. May is absolutely a case of not being very smart. I don't think she's very smart. I would intellectually dominate her. May is not smart at all. I think her biggest priority is worrying about Johnny. I don't think she really cares in a lot of cases about much else. Axel, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would be mostly smarter than Axel. I don't think Axel's, like, stupid or anything, but, like, he doesn't really show it, I guess. He did figure out how to stop himself from chronally dissociating, which I assume is pretty smart. Dang, I can't believe he would besmirch Earth's name Kai by abandoning his child. Well, hey, that's not even the worst thing he did. He stole his child's eye. It's not even worse. It's not the worst thing he did. Anyway, I don't think Axel's, like, that intelligent. He's probably just... But all things considered, he's probably the most average dude in the entire series. He's the closest thing that Guilty Gear has to an average dude. The reason I didn't say Bridget's an average dude is because Bridget is a girl. Next up is Chip. Okay, I'm shipping, but Chip is freaking stupid. You know what? He's going in genuinely unintelligent. I would outsmart Chip for sure. Chip is not smart. He's so stupid, but I love him. But does Johnny not put much time into caring about her? Yes, he does. Just not in the way that May wants him to think. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Chip did lead a whole country, but wasn't even his responsibility. He just called himself the leader. It was actually Raven who led the whole country. So I don't think he's that smart. He's not that smart. Next up is Potemkin, and unfortunately I had to put him in genuinely unintelligent. Just because his lore says that he was a slave for most of his life. So unfortunately I do have to kind of put him down here. But he'll be the smartest of this tier for sure because he does know how to draw, which I don't even know Chip. I mean, sure, Chip probably knows how to do more than that, but I don't think Chip would ever use it. Oh, was she friend zoned? No. It's Johnny sees May as his adopted daughter. Yeah, I didn't tell you that part about the Guilty Gear lore, huh? Sorry you had to find out this way. Anyway, let's talk about Faust and move on before or do anything else. Oh, that's a lot worse? Yeah, I think I probably ruined this and I think I possibly ruined this for you. I'm sorry. So for Faust is an actual doctor, all things considered. He may be a psychopath, he may be absolutely freaking insane, but he's a doctor. So you know what? I'm gonna put him up here. Like, he may have a savior complex, he may have all this other stuff, but he's a doctor. He's an actual doctor. He is a doctor. He is a doctor. Doctor chat. He is a doctor. We just gotta, we have, I'm sorry, we just gotta put him here. Next up is Milia. I feel like Milia is another case of just average intelligence. I don't think she's particularly smart or particularly stupid. I think she's a mix of, like, I think she's perfect. I think this perfectly suits her. Okay. So Sade. Sade learns dandyism, which is a way of life apparently in the Guilty Gear universe, for people who are basically immortal like him. So I think by that logic alone, and the fact that he's able to live in like parasitical relationship with a shadow demon named Eddie. I feel like he's pretty smart. And no, I did not say parasocial. I said parasitical. Next up is Ram. I'm not gonna lie to you here. I'm probably smarter than Ram. Ram is not very... all things considered, Ram is a very innocent mind. Ram is just... like, you wouldn't expect that from someone who can summon lasers and has 2 giant greatswords at her disposal at any time, but she's not that smart. She decided that humanity was actually kind of cool because of a hamburger. So, I feel like she's probably not one of the smarter characters, I don't think. Next up is Leo. I think honestly Leo is a soldier, which is true, which is pretty good, but beyond that basic tactic, I don't think beyond the fact that he probably understands tactics fairly well, I feel like he's very clouded by his emotions. Because Leo's lore is actually extremely sad, and he's very clouded by his emotions, probably, so I feel like I would defeat him based on the fact that he would probably rush through the exam relatively quickly, and just try to do things as fast as possible to try to... I just hope for the best. Leo's lore is extremely sad. Alright, Nago. I don't want to screw with Nago. Nago's lived for a very long time, and probably is one of the smartest characters in the Guilty Gear lore. He's not, like, extremely smart. In fact, so maybe I'll put him between Faust and Soul. I think, though, he's very wise and understands, like, a lot about, like, the state of the world and stuff. I think, though his lore does state that, yeah. I'm caring way too much about the lore for a stupid tier list. This does not have any impact on anyone's life. Alright. A human will be happy to hear that we're at one of our last feds. Giovanna is relatively smart. I think that she's one of the... Again, she's probably one of the smarter characters in Strive. But again, she's probably a character that only knows what she needs to know. That's about it. So she's smart, but only to an extent. She'll only know things if it's, like, necessary for her or her job. And she doesn't really care about anything. So I feel like she would be somewhere around here. Anji... Yes, I'm so glad that you're happy. You're at one of the final feds. Alright. We hate feds. Feds... I'm just gonna... Humans' nightmares are literally just filled with Guile, Chun-Li, Crimson Viper, Isabelle, Geo, and freaking Gold Lewis. That's what his nightmares are filled with. Just he hates the feds. You're not a big fan of the government. Not a big fan of the government. Anyway, Anji. Dude, I don't know about Anji. I do not think... Anji's probably one of the lesser intelligent characters. I mean, he does have a lot of style and, like, boom, but I think he's probably just, like, a dude. Ino is a witch. That's obviously going to make her... So that's probably going to put her on the smarter side. She also has a magic guitar and also kind of became god at one point. Guilty Gear's lore is weird. Anyway, I think she's probably going to go and mop the floor with me intellectually. She probably is very smarter than me in a lot of cases. I told you before, I don't really dream. Okay, I don't not respond to that. Anyway, we are at our final fed, Gold Lewis. This guy is literally the freaking... So, we've talked about politicians before, but this guy is like the final boss of all the politician-related discussions. This guy isn't the president, but he's the freaking weapons head of defense. That automatically puts him at, like, one of the smartest characters in the game. By far. He also somehow made a tombstone that is a machine gun. I love Guilty Gear. Alright. Jacko, despite being basically a clone of Arya, I don't think is not very smart. She's kind of dumb. Honestly. Which is odd considering that she requires a lot of mental institution to, like, play her and stuff. Happy Chaos is very similar to another archetype character where it's like, I think he's like the final boss of characters that are like, yeah, he knows a lot, but he doesn't care. And I called him the final boss because he's literally a god. So, like, this guy literally has the most powerful wizard in the multiverse, and just decides to use a gun. Is he as good as the villain in JoJo Part 7, the President of the United States? He probably could beat him. Probably. I'm gonna put a Happy Chaos, but it's that they outsmart everyone, no question. But he probably wouldn't even use it at all. I probably would put him in like his own tier if I had one. Baiken is a return to the format that we saw with Jamie, where rampant alcoholism destroys the brain cells. However, I'm gonna put her in the average tier, mostly because she figured out how to swing a sword with only one hand, which alone is impressive. So we're gonna put her. I think she's probably at the top run on the same level, but she can't go any higher because rampant alcoholism. Next up is Testament. Testament, I think, is probably gonna go. Testament probably knows a lot. Testament has like a lot of hobbies. Apparently, they have like a dictionary long definition of hobbies. So I don't know what so I feel like putting them in one of the higher tiers would make sense. I feel like they're street smart above like anything else. So I feel like they probably would know a lot about things. So I think putting them here is probably a good idea. Alright, next up is Biscuit. Brisket is very stupid. Baguette is not very smart historically. And I think that Basket as a whole is just not very smart. Like, all things considered, Binkit is just a normal person in a world filled with basically anime protagonists, which is why Buggett is at such a level. Because I think, like, compared to everyone else in the Guilty Gear universe, she's just like a normal person. I think that because of that logic, though, maybe she'd be best to put in. But, like, even though she's like a crazy bounty hunter, you know, we're gonna put her right above May. Yeah, that's where budget goes. All right, Sin Kisuke. All right, Bedman. Bedman is. I'm pretty sure this is a sentient bed. If this were the Xrd Bedman, I would be putting him in the highest upon the high tiers, without question. Unfortunately, no, the CEO of Yapping has died, and now he is a bed. So we're gonna put him right here. Yeah, I think that works. Next up is Asuka. And if you have played Guilty Gear, or at least heard of its lore, you know exactly where he belongs. He goes in the Galaxy Brian tier. This guy is literally responsible for everything that happened in the Guilty Gear universe. This guy created an entire artificial race of people by himself. He also created all the power and magic in the entire universe. He is responsible for everything. He built his base on the moon. He's probably one of the smartest characters on this entire list. He's probably I'd say he's probably up. I don't know if he's smarter than Dr. Doom, or he's at least second place. He is absolutely one of the smartest characters in the entire thing, which is weird because if I ranked everyone together, they would probably not be that smart. Like, Asuka literally is a tomb of magic that can do whatever, that can basically do anything. This guy basically invented magic. Well, he not invented it, but basically he had a resurgence of magic, which basically turned it into magical powers within the Guilty Gear universe. It's a whole thing. Which is odd the president still wanted to arrest him anyway, but whatever. Alright, Hani. Once again, and the unfortunate destroyer brain cells rampant alcoholism is back again. And I don't think Johnny is very smart. Johnny is kind of stupid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's cool. And this guy is playable? Yes. And he's one of the hardest characters to play in any fighting game ever. This guy is not a boss character. He is a playable character with an actual moveset. Look up the guide for him after this. It's freaking nuts. Anyway. After this is Elfelt, and I do not think that there is a single intelligent thought within Elfelt. I think Elfelt is on par with the bed, honestly, is being not very smart. I mean, she's a good musician, but it's not like a DJ case where, like, DJ just does it to have fun. Elfelt is like... Elfelt is just doesn't... I don't think Elfelt has a single brain cell. Oh, I think she's the equivalent of, like those images of the autism creature. Like, it has to be. That's the only logical explanation for why Elfelt Valentine can exist. Actually, she's the ADHD creature, and Ramlethal is the autism creature. That's how it works, basically. Alright. Next up is... I think is probably not that smart, all things considered. I think she's kind of has a Stockholm Syndrome thing with the key. If we were rating it based off of Paracelsus, it would be sky high tier. But is not going to be ranking very high. I think she's kind of gonna go and I would intellectually dominate her, honestly. And finally, after a grand total of 3 hours and 14 minutes, we get to the final character. We're ending on a pretty good one. Slayer. This guy's like the CEO of Gentlemen. And like he knows everything about everything. Like he's lived for apparently 600 years. And this guy is basically Count Dracula, but awesome. So by extension, I think he kind of has to go in this. He's also the founder of Dandyism, which is the thing that Nago and Sade follow. So he's extremely wise. So I think that at logic, he would absolutely destroy me in a test. But I think it would also kind of be like a happy chaos thing where he would hold back, kind of just to have more fun. And that is the end of this FGC Friday session. It took us a long time to get here. What I'm going to be doing real quick is I'm going to be downloading these images. Except for the Tekken one. The Tekken one's not going to be downloaded because I'm not proud of it at all. Quite a good stream. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we are going to post this stuff on Twitter. If you wish to challenge me in any of these games, if you disagree with any of my lists at all, by all means look these lists up yourself and do them. I would gladly like some more input on this because this was an incredibly fun stream to do, if not incredibly long. If you're a stream enjoyer, I apologize for the Tekken 8 thing. Thank you guys so much for watching this. This was an insane undertaking. Like a crazy undertaking. My voice is honestly quite sore. I have been talking for 3 hours straight. I don't think I've talked this long at all in my life. It's crazy. Like, not even on the Doom stream. The Doom stream, I was fairly silent on parts of that. So this is like an extreme Zatsu for me. Oh, and the chat's not working, so that's nice. Anyway, I'm letting you guys know in advance that despite this, tomorrow's stream is not going to happen. I think because there's a real life event going on in my life that I kind of need to worry about. So unfortunately, Super Autopats is going to be canceled. But thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. I had a fun time doing this. Thank you guys so much for doing it, and I really appreciate everyone coming. I'll see you guys all next time. Bye bye.